Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 15 of the Oz the Wiz Show. As I said, we'll come up with a name for it eventually. Hopefully, it's a good name. But for now, let's stick with this. I think this works for us. Welcome. Glad to have you with me today. And yeah, we're going to be unpacking some really, really interesting topics today. As you know, we normally focus mostly on the gaming business. We take the news stories or the most popular news stories and then we dissect them, and we always look at it from a business perspective and a gamer's perspective, and we see if we can't find the middle. And that's exactly what you can expect from us today. So Ty should be joining me shortly. It's just a matter of a couple of minutes. In the interim, if you're in the chat, please share with us. What are you playing? What have you been up to? Is there anything interesting that we might not know about that you'd like to share with us? Please pop it in the chat. All right, cool. So, players, welcome. Today, we're going to be focusing, of course, on the topic of the subject, which is Highguard. And we're going to try and take a very different sort of look at it from not just a matter of like, well, was the game good? Was the game bad? But we're going to look at it from an industry perspective as to like, okay, cool. Is this a trend now that we're just going to kill games? Yo, my brother J-Man is in the chat. Jerry, welcome. Glad to have you, bro. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. J-Man, please let us know what you've been playing and what you've been up to. Would love to know. And you and I still, we need to hook up and do some predator hunting, brother. I don't know if we can do that this weekend, but let me know if you're up for some predator hunting grounds, as well as some WWE, which I've also been enjoying quite a bit while taking some time off. What I've really, really been sort of like focusing on, which I mentioned last week, which is Half-Life. So Half-Life is really sort of like monopolized Half-Life. Did I say Half-Life? No. What I meant to say was Fallout. How do I confuse Fallout with Half-Life? So yes, so the main thing that has been taking up most of my time has been Fallout, and I cannot recommend it enough. Not just as the series, but just uh, what I mean by the series, the TV series. Not just the TV series, but also, please, if you have some time, go check out some of the games. They're all on sale right now. Whether you go to the Xbox store or you go to Steam, all the Fallout games are available for dirt cheap. And yeah, I'll get into that shortly. J-Man, just a quick one. I just wanted to check, how's my sound? Is my sound good? Is the picture good? Please let me know if there are any obstructions. So as I said, so currently I've just been, for the last month or so, I suppose it's a month now, I've just gone down this rabbit hole of Half-Life, of Fallout, and everything related to Fallout. Whether if I'm watching YouTube, I'm watching a Fallout documentary. If I'm playing a game, I'm playing Fallout 4 or sampling the likes of Fallout New Vegas, which it's not an easy experience. That's the thing with the older Half-Life, the older Fallout games, is that they're not the easiest games to get into. Thanks, J-Man. Much appreciated. They're not the easiest games to get into. They're very, very, I would say, a lot of them are archaic by our standards. If you try and go back and play Fallout 1 and 2, good luck. Unless you played games back then and you still have those patience to put up with just how vague everything was, good luck. I hope at some point in time Bethesda remasters those games. Those are amazing stories. I've watched like a full video of both Fallout 1 and 2. The only problem is trying to actually play the games. it's too much, man. It's like there's just the design, the design or the direction is completely different to what we have today. But yeah, if I had to recommend one that you could jump into right now, it's the same one I recommended to the Xbox groups. Sorry, specifically the Xbox group SA, is Fallout 4. If you have an opportunity to pick up Fallout 4, go pick up Fallout 4. It's one of the best, I would say, sci-fi RPGs, period, on any console. And it is, like, as much as I know for a fact, like, since going down this rabbit hole, that there's a huge sort of like divide between Fallout fans of today and of yesteryear. And I know that the guys that are like Fallout purists who like the first or couple of games don't really jive with Bethesda and their releases, and they hate on Fallout 4, probably second to Fallout 76. But I highly recommend it. It's an awesome game. You'll have an awesome time. And if you like the show or enjoy the show, you'll get why when you play Fallout 4. So go check out Fallout 4. If you're a seasoned gamer, I would say, and you came up with the 360 and the PS3, I would say go back to Fallout New Vegas as well as Fallout 3. You're going to have a good time. You're going to enjoy those games. Graphics, look, I've seen better looking things. They don't look great, but I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, cool. So I have something that I wanted to share with you guys before we get started. It's one of my favorite clips. And again, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon how you look at it, we're also going to be talking about Xbox again. As always, Xbox is going to be one of the subjects. So I'm just going to give you a breakdown in terms of like some of the subjects or the topics that we're going to be covering today. So the breakdown is as follows. So we're going to talk about, we're just going to give you a quick, just give me one. So yeah. So we're going to talk about Highguard, the controversy surrounding Highguard, and just the disparity, or the almost like the could you call it disparity between gamers and game developers? Because I just feel that, like, more than ever, this is the worst time, or this is the one time when we have a situation where I wonder if most devs understand what gamers want. And I wonder if devs feel appreciated by gamers in today's climate. It's just, there's so much conflict. And a lot of it is just, in my opinion, is a matter of like, there's a lack of communication between gamers and and the studios that represent. So yeah, we'll unpack that when we have that high god discussion, and then of course we'll get into the Xbox financials for today. Xbox released their Q2 results, and surprise, surprise, everything is down. And of course, hardware being the main culprit, or the main thing that took the biggest hit. But it's what we've come to expect. It's just another. It's become business as usual. So I wonder why Ty is trying to call me. Crimson Desert. So I don't know if you guys have seen the clips of Crimson Desert. I wanted to share those with you and just talk through the game, because I really, really feel or think that at first I didn't think it was much or anything special, but I really, really do believe that it is going to be something worth looking forward to. Like I saw the recent, I saw the recent showcase. Taya says I'm here. Oh shit, my bad. Sorry, I didn't see you. You were like right at the bottom of all the stuff on the queued up.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Not much. I had to listen to. I know
I'm wondering why would you send me a WhatsApp in the middle of a fucking podcast? I'm like, this guy.
Well, I mean, like I was hearing you talking about how, well, I don't think developers understand their consumers very well, and I was like, oh, like I want to say something, but like he has me trapped. You know, he's like, you go listen to this rant right here, bro.
Okay, cool. So is this how you want to get it started? Okay, cool. I'll allow it.
Yeah, but because I think
What is your pushback, Ty? What is your pushback to what I said?
While there's some truth to what you're saying, I think that the problem that I think you're having is that the developers are making games for themselves, right? It's what they like, it's what they want to see, it's their artistic vision,
Huh?
and yeah, it is what it is. Because
What?
put it this way, yeah. If I gave
What?
you $20 million right now, are you gonna want to make a game that you think the the modern audience wants, which is the consumer, right? Primarily, are you gonna make a game that you want to make?
No, well. Again, you give me $20 million, you're gonna have some expectations from me, correct? I need to be able to make your money back, and I need to be able
No,
to
but
make
you see, but I think
enough
this is where
profit to make a new game.
it differs, yeah, because the people who are giving these developers money, they don't know the industry like that. But all they know is that the game industry is booming, and if you want to make money, give people money in the game. Like, remember, like, I think was it 40,000 jobs have been lost. I think there was an article that came out some years ago that like a lot of investors are pulling back their money now from video games because you know the industry didn't pan out the way that they thought it was going to pan out. It's too many games, too many too much supply, not enough demand, right? So, but these investors, they don't really know, and they're looking for like the next big thing. So they're gonna give you all this cash for you to do something with, and because they're not really hanging over your head, telling you what to do per se, you're gonna likely make something that you want to make, as opposed to something that you think people want to make.
Okay, so I'll give you one qualifier.
Play,
so first of all, if you give me 20 million to make a game, you know what? I'm grateful for the investment, but I also understand that I need to make another game. The moment I'm in a position where I can get 20 million approved to make a video game, I know that I'm going to want to make more video games. So I want to make sure that the first video game I make hits or lands and has an audience that's going to be dedicated to that game. So what I would do is I would get the right people, do the right amount of research to see where is our audience. And a good example of this is what is this studio called? It's a small studio, the same ones that are making
Sniper Elite Studio.
Sorry,
the guys that make Sniper.
No. Those guys, again, they've got a good business model there. That's Rebellion. I'm not talking about Rebellion. I'm talking about Owlcat. Owlcat games, yeah. They make role-playing games. Their games are so specific for that audience. Like, they target me because of the fact that they've seen, like, for instance, what I follow and what I like on Twitter. So every single time I click on something, 9 or 10 times I'm going to see an Owlcat ad. So they know who they're targeting, and their games, like some of the games are not even announced yet. Sorry, not announced, but they don't even have dates in terms of like a year when they're coming out, but they're already marketing to me. So I would first and foremost, Ty, before I even come out to making a game, is I would find an audience. That is how people used to do it back in the day. I don't understand this thing of making games for yourself. That is how rational is that from a business perspective?
No, but there is an audience, right? Because a kind of game that you would make has an audience.
Well, is that audience going to be interested in what you're going to be bringing to the table with your game?
So, put it this way. Because gaming is an artistic form, that audience will be interested.
That we agree on.
But that doesn't mean your game is going to be a good game, or it's going to be a good demonstration of that artistic vision, right? Like, for example, Mass Effect Andromeda, they know the audience. They know it's sci-fi. They know it's people who like Mass Effect-like games. That game was not a good game. It could be it was a Mass Effect game, but it wasn't a good version of a Mass Effect game, right? So what you're having is you're having developers making games that maybe they think people would want to play, or a game that's gonna do really well. But the problem is those games just aren't really that good. Now, tying the fact that like it's a game for the developer per se, right, and the game isn't that good, well, this is just not gonna be there.
Of course. So, but what happens if you actually? And again, you first have to make a good product, right? Don't blame or be angry at people if you make a crappy product and people don't buy it. So if you have a good product or a decent product that maybe after release or after launch, especially if you're an indie studio, and we'll get this when we get into Highguard, or you're a smaller studio, you want to make sure that you have this sort of like impression more than on anyone else, you want to have that impression on your audience, on the people that are going to be playing your game. Those are the people that you want to impress first. And, you know, I feel that like there's not a lot of that happening anymore. Now it's a matter of like, well, we secured the funding and we're working for a big publisher, and they've given us these cliff notes in terms of they want a battle royale game, they want a Souls like, because like this is not only a problem for live service games. This is a problem with gaming in general, because most smaller developers now, if they can't make some sort of a live service multiplayer type game, guess what they make? A Souls-like game. Those are like the go-to genres for for small budgets. And my problem with that is that that market is very oversaturated. So when you come into that market, you really need to be able to offer something that's different and unique, that has a very captive audience. And you've sort of built that relationship. And that's the most important thing, is I think you need to spend more time in the relationship building with your community. Which I
don't think you don't need to spend relationship building. All the top games, they didn't have to do this. Any of the things you're saying. Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, and Breath of the Wild didn't have to do this. Elden Ring, they didn't have to do this. Hogwarts Legacy, they didn't have to do this.
My only caveat there is that though you said top games, we're talking about you having, this is your first game, you've been given a budget, and then you need to make this work.
No, because Club Skirt didn't have to do it, Silsong didn't have to do it. Like, no one has to.
Well, I mean, those are games. Yes, those are examples, but they're not the rule. Like, there's other examples where people.
You can build a community and try to build a community, right? And then that community will gravitate towards you. They'll gravitate. I mean, they're going to gravitate towards you because you're making a product, and they might like what they see, or what they hear, or what they play test, whatever it is. Like, I don't disagree with that, but you don't have to talk to people in the way that I think you're trying to imply. I mean, you don't have to be buddies with anything. Like, your game success is going to be.
Nobody said anything about buddy. You need to have a community that is interested in your product. I don't think that's negotiable. And like the difference is, if you've already got a marketing budget, you've already got a PR team, you've already got these mechanics in place, then of course you know what to do. But if you're coming in clean, say for instance like a Larian with their first two games, those games were community based. Same with Obsidian. Is it Obsidian? Who makes
Obsidian? Yeah.
Who makes the those top down? The top down. I think it's between Obsidian and Exile.
In Exile makes Wasteland.
Yeah. What's the other one? That was crowdfunded. And it's one of the biggest.
Pillars of Eternity, Obsidian.
Pillars of Eternity. They crowdfunded Pillars of Eternity 1, and I think 2 as well was partially crowdfunded. That's because you have an audience that's interested in that product. And that's what I'm saying, is that cultivate the audience. But anyways, Tai will get to that when we talk about.
Yeah,
we'll get to that when we talk about.
Just a quick one about like if you saw the Metro Prime development interview, one of the devs says at the start of the project, perhaps due to influence of Zelda Legend of the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, we sort of comments on the internet saying we want to play an open world Metroid game. However, Metroid's core element of increasing the amount of explorable areas by unlocking powers is not very compatible with the freedom to go anywhere from the beginning of open worlds. Thus, we thought to design a limited area that could be freely explored and have that be a hub that could connect to other areas. Then we thought if one could move around on the bike, it would be a satisfying way in that area. It could be a segment that mitigates blah, 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 blah. In the end, the game took too much than expected to finish, and we realized that players' impressions towards open world games had changed. That being said, development had already been reset once before, so backtracking development again was out of the question, and we resolved to move forward with our original vision. What this illustrates here is that there are certain things that are popular now, and you might even enjoy it. You might even enjoy Souls-like games like right now. That doesn't mean when your game is coming out, which you started development right now, in the next 4 to 5 years, is going to be popular. There's certain mechanics that people just won't like. And there might be certain art styles that you might have liked, and you'll realize that things have changed. So I say this to kind of point out that when we say things like, oh, they're not listening to the fans, well, some of these titles were being in development 4 to 5 years ago or 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
I understand that. And again, that's a different problem. That's when you're an established studio with budgets and you've got marketing teams, you've got PR people, you've got a whole bunch of people who are supposed to sort of keep these balls in the air. I'm talking about when you're coming in, like for instance, to your point, using your same example, you're a guy that just, this is your first game and you've just been given, like, let's say $20 million. Or maybe you worked with a team before, like who's this, like Expedition guys, but this is your first actual game and people have given you money, and you know that there's an audience, because Clear Obscure is actually a very good example of that. That you know there's an audience that Square doesn't deem important enough to service, and you know that you have the vision to be able to service that audience. It's not going to be 100, like 10, 20 million people that are going to buy your game, but you're going to have an audience that's going to be able to keep you in business, that you can make more games. And there's a lot of studios that do that just target that they understand that niche between single A and triple A, and then there's somewhere in the middle with the double A, because they've got the right amount of budget, the right amount of talent, and the right amount of vision to be able to deliver on that. And that's basically what I'm talking about. But like with more established studios, Ty, the conversation is a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more involved. There's a lot more moving parts than just focusing on delivering on a product for an audience.
Fair enough.
But we'll get to that. We'll talk about Highguard. It's one of the first subjects. So I want to just go. So I said we'll talk about Highguard. We'll talk about Xbox's financials. And Ty, I believe there's an article from Forbes that you want to take us through. And then we'll discuss that with the team. And then we're going to talk about your favorite company, Ubisoft's Restructure. I say Restructure and I put in inverted commas. I want to hear your input on that, and whether or not, what does Ubisoft's future look like, man? Like, yeah, to me, they're in that Xbox ship. And of course, I also want to just, because we said that we would do this.
What a loaded statement. Xbox ship. Like, what does that even mean?
Exactly. You tell me, what does that mean?
Like 25 billion. Oh my God, they're going to fall apart. Oh, 20 billion in revenue. Oh, Jesus Christ. Life sucks. Oh, they're going out of business, guys.
Exactly. Am I wrong? Is that not the same thing?
Yeah, you're wrong. Of course you're wrong.
Is that not the same thing? Are they not on the Xbox ship? You just made those comparisons.
No, Ubisoft is vastly in more trouble than Xbox is.
You reckon?
Reckon what? Yes. Like, reckon what? Like, they're never comparable.
I'm not talking about Xbox. I'm just talking about, like, in terms of as a brand and how they are seen by the people.
The Xbox brand is far superior to Ubisoft's brand. Yes, far superior.
We'll get to that, because otherwise I'm going to go back and forth with you again for another 30 minutes.
Take notes on that. Xbox brand is far superior to Ubisoft's brand.
Please make note of that. We'll get to that. And then I want us to close off, because we wanted to talk about this last time, which is AI. And then maybe we'll talk about AI in gaming. Look, to me, this is a nothing burger. There's practical applications when it comes to AI in gaming. And then there's also applications outside the actual game worlds, where you are now actually literally, which is what Microsoft is proposing, is replacing actual expertise, which means people and workforce and manpower, with AI. To me, that's the negative part of AI implementation. The positive part of AI implementation is having more lively worlds in game. In other words, you have NPCs that are more responsive, that are more organic in terms of like how they interact with you, that don't repeat the same two dialogue options after you finish their main quests. To me, those are positive aspects that you can use AI. Even in design, you can use AI in positive aspects, but we'll get to that. We'll talk about that. All right, cool. So first things first, what have you been up to, and what are you playing?
I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077, and It's good. To be honest with you, I really just wanted to play for the story. So when I'm in, situations where I have to look for some, code, or I need to find something or investigate, I get very irritated. Like, I don't want to look at these things. I just want to move on to the next point. And when I'm dealing with enemies that are more spongy, like absorbing the hits, I don't want to. Like, I just want them to die in like two hits. So I'm playing it at a relatively easy level, and I just want to progress through the story. Like, the only reason why I'm playing is because of you, because I wanted to just watch the whole movie on YouTube. That was it. But you're like, oh, you gotta play. It's the best game ever made. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll play it. I might bump up the level back to normal at some point if I could somehow maybe find a mod to upgrade my guns, like, something just stronger. I don't want spongy enemies right now. I just want, like, I don't even mind if I'm like dying in like a couple of hits. I just want this to move quickly, and I'm not having fun shooting somebody like, emptying a full clip into someone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Look,
Rachie, what's up?
Yeah, Rachie, I didn't even see that you crept in here. And Rachie's got you down. Like, he knows exactly what sort of person you are. You corpo.
Yeah, that is true. I am a corpo.
That's exactly what you would do.
I am. I'm like, wait, I should be a gangster or a cowboy instead? Like, are you joking here? A street thug?
A nomad.
Like, what the hell? A nomad? Like, no, I have a house, man. I want a house.
Family, bro. Family. Vin Diesel style.
And I'm freaking taking a shit like at the freaking like in the desert somewhere behind a cactus. Man, no, thank you.
Come on.
No. I want them corpo. I want them those corpo toilets where the water shoots up, wipes your ass for you. Exactly the good stuff. Boss. The good life.
Okay, cool. I hear you.
I want to order food, not have to cook my own food.
Okay. You're such a there's a word for you. Anyway, I wanted to. Okay, so you said you've been playing Cyberpunk. Besides Cyberpunk, what else are you doing? I know you dropped a video. Was it this week or last week?
I dropped it last week.
You dropped a video last week. Okay, we did speak about it in the pod last week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think towards the closing we did. Okay, cool. Anything else that you've been up to, Ty, besides Cyberpunk and putting out some content?
No, that's pretty much it, to be honest. Nothing else new on my side. Just I'm that kind of guy who plays it one game at a time. If I leave a game, I'm pretty much either done with it, or I'm gonna be in a situation where I'm just gonna keep playing. I'll play that game and I'll play like other games like Smash Brothers and FIFA, like the multiplayer games. But any single player games now, I can only do one at a time.
Yeah. So you and I had a Mortal Kombat contest a while back.
We did.
Do you care to recap how that went?
Yeah, I saw Usher's playing Mortal Kombat online, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot he likes this game, and I was like, yo, bro. We need to like game together sometime and play Mortal Kombat, like co-op, me and you, King of the Hill kind of thing. And he's like, fuck that. I want to beat your ass.
No.
We don't need to.
I said let's play King of the Hill, and you're like, nah.
No. Ushers was very aggressive. I was like, bro, like, it's all about the friends we make along the way. And he was just like, no, you're gonna get your ass kicked. I hate Europeans. But like, he was talking smack.
Oh my God.
I said, let's play one game, and after that, then we can go to co-op. And we played one game, and he got his ass kicked, and he just kept on saying revenge. So we ended up playing like 50 games, and out of those 50 he won one. And I won the other 49. So yeah,
what you neglected to mention is that you're like a fighting game fundi. Like you could tell when somebody literally plays fighting games with like, while looking in the other direction, doing other things, like they're like literally at like championship level. You are very good. Like you are exceptionally good given the amount of like time you had to acquaint yourself to that specific game. Like I could tell that, I'm kind of, after the first match, I could sort of tell that I was kind of screwed. And I wasn't good enough to sort of like I don't have a main in Mortal Kombat 1 because I've just played the story. So I was just like in a position where I was like, I can't even try anything here. I'm really he's naturally just very good at this. I'm pretty much fucked. So yeah. But
Naturally.
Taye, guys, never invite Taye to a Mortal Kombat or a fighting game. If you're gonna invite him to play a fighting game with him, make sure that you've got some good amount of hours there and you've gone and looked at all the tutorials, looked at all the buttons, and be very good at being defensive. That's the number one thing I'll give you, is that if you can't defend, I didn't even know what the block button was. If you can't defend, he will fuck you up continuously. Like it's brutal.
No lies were told.
Worst Mortal Kombat experience I've ever had. Never again.
Oh god.
I uninstalled the game after that.
Yeah, I just saw Christopher Drink just dropped another article. We can go through it as well, along with the other one. I sent it to you. I did have a quick read towards it. It's like just garbage. Like I don't know how to like. I don't get some people, man. There's very low effort analysis going on. I should like drink a lot. I just feel like this article doesn't really go into. Maybe it's something to go into the details, right? Let me not actually go too much in because I didn't.
Are you saying
read it.
His analysis was substandard?
I feel like it's one of those cases where people, they ask questions and they throw statements out there, but they don't look at like the bigger picture per se. They kind of like they don't explain the mitigating factors. You might have the right conclusion, you just haven't explained how you got to that conclusion. And the conclusion you're saying, you're only focusing on like maybe a particular part of the equation, right? So you still might be right, but you just haven't explained how you came to that conclusion properly. I was going to share with some of the guys I know, but I'm like, why? Like, it's just silly. I think the issue is like, even if I was to share with them, they wouldn't even question it. They're like, people don't question these things. They look at headlines, they see what they want to see, and then they just proceed from there.
I mean, a lot of people have built-in biases when it comes to a lot of things, and they
don't really suck.
But that's most human beings.
Most human beings suck.
Yeah, that's true. Most human beings do suck. I agree with you. Okay, cool. So let's get to Highguard. So, Ty, did you get a chance to play Highguard?
I haven't played Highguard.
Let me see if I can get some footage.
I haven't played Highguard, and the reason I haven't played Highguard is because I'm not interested in games like Highguard. Therefore, you will not hear me talk about games like Highguard. You will not hear me even talk about them on a podcast, really. I only engage with games like Highguard when it has to come about as a talking point on a podcast like this. So to the people out there who are not playing Highguard, and for some reason are talking about Highguard, the question I would ask you is why? Why would you be talking about something you don't want to play or have an interest in, something that isn't clearly made for you? I know why. It's this idea that something that exists that isn't meant for you is so offensive to you that you have to bitch and moan and cry about it. The only type of people who do that, generally speaking, are children. If they don't like something, they'll throw up a tantrum. So I've seen a lot of discourse on Highguard in terms of people be just shitting on the game for whatever reason. I just don't understand when you go Silk Song, Clubs Girl, Elden Ring, Ghost of Yote, Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not talking about games from this year. There's so much content out there, but the discussion is that let's talk about a game that clearly isn't made for me. Arc Raiders is not made for me.
Let's talk.
It's very hard for you to find me talking about Arc Raiders.
Okay, so I just want to share something with you.
Wait.
So in terms of like I get where you're coming from. That okay, cool. And again, a lot of people will disagree with your point. Like, if you're not playing the game, then why complain about it or why talk about it? I get where you're coming from. Is that like, okay, just stop being negative about shit that you don't care about or shit that you don't like. But what about the 97,000 people that played the game on Steam? And that's just one storefront. And it got an overwhelming amount of negative reviews. I think it's sitting at something ridiculous like 39%. I'll pull up the numbers shortly. What about those people? Don't they? And those are the people that probably whose opinions are the most lauded right now. The ones that are like they sort of putting it out there. Like, you know what? This was a waste of my time. Etc. Or like the way that this was sold to me, and there's a reason I put Geoff. There we go. Actually, I just wanted to stop on there. Let me just go back to that frame. I'm just gonna freeze on there. So This is like, and this has not changed. Like mostly negative is what the game is getting, and that's the reception it's getting from the people who are actually playing the game on on Steam currently. Do you put them in the same boat as the people that you were just talking about?
No. Those guys are legit. Like, if people are talking about. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
They're legit. They're talking about games that they don't like. They're talking about a review basically. Like, I played this game, I didn't like it, and that's fine. I just don't know why I would be talking about it. Like, those guys are legit. But like, again, if you're gonna talk about, like, if you haven't played Highguard, you want to talk about it, and you want to talk about, oh well, look at its review scores. Like, well, talk about Stronghold 3 Gold, which has a 3.26% rating on Steam. Talk about Unplay 2024, which has a
What's
3.24%
that?
rating. I'm naming games that have worse ratings or games that have shittier
Oh, okay.
ratings
All
on
right. No,
Steam,
no, please go
and there's thousands of them. So my question is,
ahead.
why Highguard? Why
Well, I
just
can
them?
tell you why Highguard. You might not like the reason or agree. Very simple, because of the fact that like you have the biggest award show in the world, and typically their what they call it, their Apple moment or their one last or one more thing moment is the game that shuts down the show. It's normally something amazing from what's this guy from Japan, the Elden Ring
Kojima,
studio from um, who are the guys
Kojima.
that make the Souls games?
Oh, from Software.
From Software. You got the next From Software games being dropped. Xbox announces the Xbox Series X. Sony shows off their next AAA big blockbuster. That is what that slot, that one more thing slot, is saved for. And Jeff saves that slot for this game. She shows this game off, knowing the current climate that we have with the oversaturation of this type of battle royale, hero shooter / live service type of game. It shows this game off, and on top of that, after the whole thing happens and the initial negativity starts coming out, and I always say to you, Tai, a lot of this negativity is never just driven by the gamers. It starts with the media. It starts with the outlet saying, "Huh? This is the game that they announced as the game or the last thing at the Game Awards," and then it trickles down and then it becomes a conversation, and then that built up from the Game Awards. Now, fast forward a little bit to when this game is about to launch. Radio silence, no marketing up until I think a week before it launches, and then Jeff says something that I think that 48 hours before the game launches. He says, "Tomorrow, I am going to be taking all my apologies. Thank you."
You said that?
He said that. He tweeted that out. That tomorrow I'm going to be accepting all my apologies. No, he said in 48 hours I'll be accepting apologies. Sorry, misquoted him. 48 hours I'll be taking apologies. Game drops. What do you think gamers are gonna do? Especially if the game sucks.
Well, I think that's a very important point, distinction you said. What do you think gamers are going to do? You're right. We shouldn't expect anything less or more from them. This is
Yes,
what they
exactly.
will do. Yeah, they're
Exactly.
they get very emotional, so they'll go and start bashing the game product.
But
It's just so childish. It's actually
but then
pathetic.
again, it's
It
childish
really
for you
is.
to declare that, don't you think?
For me to declare what?
For Jeff to declare that this is why I believe in this game, and tomorrow all of you will be wrong and I'll be right. And then the game comes out, and I played it, and I'll give you my impressions shortly. Game comes out, and most people, the ratings are mostly negative. Most people don't think it's anything amazing or
Like,
exceptional.
nobody ever takes Jeff's word for games like this as stock value anyway. So why now?
Well, I mean, he banked his entire show, the biggest gaming show, on this game. Like, he had confidence in this product. And even if you listen to the developers didn't even want to take it to the Game Awards. He's the one that says, bring it to the Game Awards, show it off at the Game
But
Awards.
again, but that's because he liked it, right? And he likes it. So, and then he did it at his Game Awards, and but the game
Exactly.
wasn't good. So then we move. I don't mean like in a bad way, like, oh, like everyone should shut up or not speak about this. It's just like, that's his opinion. and his opinion was to many people wrong. But I just keep it. I just why not just keep it moving? Like, oh yeah, he was wrong.
Yeah,
End of
but like
story.
he has sway, right? He's a
No, 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 no,
person.
no.
He's
No. He doesn't have sway because
he
Jeff's
doesn't.
comments cannot lead to people liking the game. People can still hate. People will still hate it. Gamers have their own opinions on these kind of
However,
products.
he has a platform that a lot of people take their time. It's like a 3 hour show. They take time out of their day to go watch that show. So it's a show that has sway, or it has
I
what's the
know,
word?
but what I'm saying is that nobody saw the trailer and thought to themselves, "This is so cool, bro! I can't wait to play this game." Everybody saw the trailer and said, "What the hell is this? This ain't for me. This is
Exactly.
crap." So
Exactly.
then at that point, you don't even have to talk about the game anymore. Just let it die. Like, it is what it is. But the fact that like they kept talking about it, like for example, somebody brought up that Stevenson guy or whatever it is, and how he was shitting on the game. Dude made like 6 videos on it. It's like, yeah, it is. People want to be angry. They want to be annoyed. The developers went quiet. They didn't even talk about the game. Everyone was there talking, oh, the quiet. It's because it sucks. It's probably like I was like, who cares? Like, why? Just let them
Okay, but
be.
like 97,000 people played the game, meaning that its exposure to the gamer was. I mean, that's better than the 400 million in terms of ROI, and that's better than the 400 million that Sony put down for Concord.
Yeah.
So this game actually attracted people, and if it was good, your boy would have been taking apologies the next day. The fact that he made that statement, Ty, tells me that he believed in this product and he thought this product would actually connect with an audience.
No, no,
And
but that's the
unfortunately, it
thing
didn't.
though. But there were streamers out there who played the game and said it was okay, and there's other streamers who were like, "Yo, I actually had a good time playing the game." He's just like chat was bashing the game so bad. I can't remember the streamer's name, but he was like, "Yeah, I would have played the game again, but my chat was just like going crazy at the game, and I was just like, okay, fine, I can't play this anymore then because they don't want me to play it." So like, and I guess that's just my point. Like, here's the thing:
Yeah.
what Jeff did was actually really good for this game
Mhm.
because this game would have dropped and nothing would have happened. Like they would have probably flopped. The devs who made this game can at least turn around and be like, "Yo, we actually made some profit because we got people playing the game, people tried it out, whatever it is. We got some exposure, and in the long term, I think this is actually more beneficial for them than if nothing had happened. The game is still probably not going to do anything special. It's probably going to like die off or whatever, right? But
Look,
this was a good thing for them. But I do take your point that like I get
mhm.
it. People want to speak, and we like the idea that like we can comment on entertainment and give people L's whenever we want to. So I don't want to sound like someone who's trying to like inhibit that or tell people to like shut the fuck up. It's just
Okay.
that I think whenever it leads towards like let's take the piss or let's fight or let's be angry at this product, I'm always like, but why do we need to like give that energy? I understand the trolling part of it,
Mhm.
but I don't know if people are even trolling these days. I think they just listen, I have seen some comments in this past couple of days with people saying some crazy things. And I'm starting to think like, why is everyone always focusing on the negative side of things?
No, I hear you. I hear you. And you know what? If ifs and buts were milk and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, no?
I never heard that expression before, but it sounds decent.
But like the point is, like, people, we know how the internet works, Ty, and most of it, like, negative publicity is mostly what drives traffic, and grifters will take advantage of negative publicity. But I do feel that some of the things that this game, because I played the game. Let me just give you my before we close this segment and move on to the next one. I just want to give you my breakdown in terms of like what I thought. First thing that annoyed me about the game is that it crashed every single time I tried to launch it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I loved about the game is that it's small. It's like literally it's like 25 gig, which I was so relieved. I was like, thank God, a live service game that's just small enough that I can install it without having to worry about what else do I need to uninstall and all that BS. So easy to install, but to run it was a freaking bitch because of the fact that it requires you to reset your computer and go on and change your BIOS settings so that you can play the game. Because of the fact that I think it has anti-cheat installed in it, which just annoyed me from the get-go, and I wanted to uninstall it immediately. Like the moment the first barrier into your game is me starting it up, you've already messed up, in my opinion. And that was my first impression of the game, which was not a positive one. Okay, I went and I followed the steps. Okay, cool, it's fine. It's small. It's not inconvenient. Fix your BIOS and start the game. Started the game. Tutorial was painless, chill. I started a couple of matches. The problem I had with the game is that it's a 3v3, dude. And these wide open maps. And my man, like, I didn't like this with Apex Legends, this thing of like walking for so long before you find someone to shoot. Like, there's better games to play, dude. And I'll give you an example. Remember that mecha game we played? The one with the hotties?
Yeah.
Yes. That game, if you remember, you were never out of action. Like, there were enough NPCs for you to shoot and keep you involved while you were planning what you're going to do around the world, and the enemies were also planning what they were going to do, and you're going to capture the point. But there were enough bots to keep you occupied. You remember that?
Yeah, true.
You were never bored. It just got overwhelming because the controls were a little bit difficult. This game, dude, is empty. It's desolate. I'm like, you telling me you couldn't even put a few bots into the game to just pad the sort of like you running around as the player? 3v3, and that's the only people that are on the map.
No, I agree. It seems like they flopped to some extent.
It just didn't feel finished, bro. Like, to me, it just felt like a game that needed more time to cook. I'll tell you what I like about it, what they got right, and this is the big thing, if you saw the cover, is the character designs. I love the character designs. Look, they go for that whole Marvel thing. No, not Marvel, let me say Mortal Kombat, where it's attractive characters, but of course they are layered over layers, especially the female characters. There's layers and layers and layers of clothes on them. They can't show... showing any skin is illegal or is wrong. Which again, I'm fine with it. The design, the character designs, I don't know. I think I saw a couple of people hating on the character design. I was like, come on, you guys are reaching. Character designs are on point. There's just not enough characters in the game. So the world feels a little bit hollow. It feels a little bit empty. It feels like one of those games where it's like, I've been there, done that. But I didn't hate it. It's not an unpleasant game to play. It's just, I'm not into this type of genre. But I could see that there was potential here. If this game it felt finished or feature complete, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I get you. So
and I think a lot of
how long do you give like you think the game is gonna like shut down this year?
No. So there's a difference, and somebody actually broke this down. So this is a completely indie funded project. If they have enough money and they actually planned all the things that they've planned for it already, given its reception, this is not a horrible reception for a free-to-play game. I mean, right now it's got about 7,000 players, and there's a lot of people that like this game. Unlike Concord, which nobody liked, there's a lot of people that like this game, but they need to put content out there like ASAP. The thing that's gonna save this game is if they can be able to put out more heroes, which they promised. When I was reading the synopsis or the introduction, like on Steam, like that little thingy, that little summary, they saying that they're going to be dropping regular content, that there's going to be more heroes coming. Put more heroes. You need more bots. You need more things in the world, dude. You need to find more things in the world for people to shoot.
Do you think it's a little bit too late though?
Sorry?
Do you think it's a little bit too late?
I don't. If you can look for a game like this, if they can maintain 10,000 players a week, this game can survive, because it's not an EA game that's compelled. Look at that. Character designs love the character designs. If they can keep this game going for 6 months with about 10,000 players, dude, this game can have an audience. I can see an audience. It's not a bad game. There's a good core game in there, but everything else is just dry.
No, fair enough.
Okay, cool. So anything else? Any other impressions about Highguard?
No, to be honest with you, I don't really play these kind of games. I can't even tell you what it should have that's good or what is bad.
Yeah.
it just looks like one of these games that it has its audience, and its audience is not really it's not me, so I can't even comment. But it does look generic. It doesn't look like it's done anything particularly new. Maybe gameplay it does, but it does look like your kind of typical average shooter. And I always I've said this a few times now, that in order for you to really do well in this industry now, you need to have unique factors about you, and this game
Yes.
doesn't necessarily, it doesn't look of, oh, she's actually not bad.
Dude, none of the characters look bad, dude. Like, the character
Hmm.
designs are on point.
Yeah, she actually
It's
looks
just
very
that there's
good.
very few characters.
Yeah, yeah. But I think, that you need to come out swinging. And
Yes.
unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they came out swinging. So I don't know if the game will survive much longer. But I mean, listen, I hope nothing fails. So yeah, all the best to them.
Sorry, Fuzzy Tomato, welcome. Glad to have you with us, bro. And then Fuzzy says something that is almost Fuzzy. I don't know how you know this, but oh, it's true. Oh, it's true. I don't know what if you saw what Fuzzy says, and he's absolutely right. To me, that's a huge selling point. Like, if you've got awesome female characters in your game, um, I'm down. Like, I'll buy. I'll at least give it a try. That's why I didn't even think about Concord, because instead of the characters having nice asses, the characters all look like ass.
You know what I'll say?
They all
Listen,
like
I'll just say this: if your game is average or whatever, doesn't look great, I mean, like, it is what it is. Then maybe the best thing to do is to have nicer characters as a pull factor, right? To at least get the what those guys goes, the gooners on your side. Like, at least that's gonna
yeah.
give you extra sales. So um yeah, I would actually agree with Ushers now. This game could have, if this game went for a, what's that Korean game that you used to play?
Oh, First Descendant.
If this game went for like a First Descender like thing, like
Yeah,
Western
yeah.
shooter, you at least could have had all the loser gooners and the anti woke people buy your
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean? Like, and that would have been the audience, and then you would have leaned into that a little bit to be like, actually, the game actually doesn't look bad. Like, I mean, art style wise, it doesn't actually look bad at all. It's just maybe the game sucks, but the game itself doesn't actually look bad.
No,
And
like but Fuzzy mentioned something. Two things. From Fuzzy. Fuzzy first mentioned the fact that, like, the characters are pretty generic looking. Look, I don't play enough of these games for me to be able to have, like, I know the ones that look like crap, like, for instance, like Concord and a couple of other ones that I've seen. But I've seen that the main draw, like, for instance, to Overwatch, to Apex Legend, is that the heroes look somewhat distinct and interesting. And here the characters didn't, like, I was like, this is nice character design. It's not amazing, but it's a nice character design. But I'm sure if you've been playing all these games, Fuzzy, this is more of the same. You've seen a lot of heroes that look like this. This is more of the same. There's nothing exceptional
I
in terms
think
of
I think what
character.
might be happening is that people are looking at maybe the anti woke games that are not even like shooters. So they're not looking at this genre itself. They're looking at the gaming industry as a whole, and they're looking at like the last popular live service game, which was Concord, that failed. I think they're expecting this game to probably look like that, and it doesn't. So
Yeah.
they can't really attack it for having like crappy characters at all,
Mhm.
because yeah, it looks like they actually seem to make to have good characters, as generic as they are. But I think they're probably generic for somebody who's played these kind of games, because like you
Correct.
said, you got Overwatch, right? You got Marvel
Yeah.
Rivals. Like, this is nothing compared to that.
Yes.
But
The
to
competition
Concord, this is, yeah, this is like better.
much better. So Rach is dropping some truth bombs in the chat. So he basically said something that I saw. One of Daniel Owen. He's a PC guy that always tests these games on the latest graphics cards, drivers, etc. And the one thing that he mentioned is that the game looks blurry, and this is something I think Rachie has been mentioning quite a bit. Characters are pretty generic. I think it was used between you and Fuzzy, but, like, I'm pretty sure it was Rachie that mentioned the fact that the game does have a blurriness about it, and this is a fact. This is probably an engine related problem that they've not fixed. amongst other technical issues that the game has. Another one is people not being able to actually get into games. That was another thing that a lot of people cited as a sore point with the game. And another thing that Rachel mentioned that's quite interesting, not the. Oh, yes. This I thought is interesting. It says the characters need a strong backstory to be loved or to be beloved. This is what makes Hoyo games so successful. So, Taye, you have experience with Hoyo games. I do not. Is this true?
I actually don't have that much experience with Hoyo games. But I would agree with Reichi. I think people have an affinity towards the characters. I was playing even Shift Up's game as well. And by nature of them having a story and just the way the anime kind of vibe works, you can start to like characters for certain reasons. Like they kind of fit very specific archetypes. There's always that kind of like the smart one, the strict one, the one who is strict but also flirts with you here and there, or she's very shy. Like they have all these different kind of character models, and I think they do a good job because they're also attractive. They do a good job at making you kind of feel connected towards them, or you kind of want to see them succeed or do well. So I would say that's probably one of the reasons. Now, in terms of the actual story development part of it, I think the devs do a decent job at making you somewhat invested within the stories. The stories are not great. I think they do a good job at making you like the characters, right? Maybe they're very I don't want to say generic, but they're very warm, right? And they're very like, honestly, the best way to put it, just like if you watch anime, like you kind of understand exactly the kind of characters that I'm talking about. They're just very nice, and because you are likely the leader, the one that they all enjoy, or the one like they all see as like the boss, it does make it feel like this is like your team, and you also get to pick and choose which one comes out to fight and battle. So yeah, I think just the nature of the gameplay itself makes you feel connected towards the characters.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So I'm wishing this game. Look, if for me they can just fill up the world, I'll come back because I'm still looking for a multiplayer game. Like, I still have not found a multiplayer, whether it's a battle royale game, whether it's a live service game that speaks to me. The closest I've come was probably Forza Horizon, where I actually want to spend time within the world with other players, doing stuff that's cool in the world and playing with friends. The other one was Titanfall. Ironically, Titanfall 2 was another game that I loved to play with friends because there was just so many ways to enjoy that game. You didn't have to just play PvP. There was just a whole bunch of ways that you could play with your friends. And of course, Gears, the standard stuff, Gears back in the day, I really enjoyed playing that with friends. So I am looking for the next multiplayer experience for me. So hopefully, I would love to join into this hero shooter craze. Funny enough, I've not really tried Marvel Rival. Maybe I should try that. Maybe that's the game that'll speak to me. All right, Taye, anything else on Highguard? Can we move on to Xbox financials?
Yeah, sure. Let's bounce off.
Okay. So you're going to read this. You're English. So you're gonna take us through this article. Irish doesn't qualify you as being English, right?
No, it doesn't. What the hell? Huh? No, it does not.
What is the official language in Ireland?
It's Irish, but English is our main language.
Can you speak Irish?
Not really. Like when I was a kid, I knew some things. I still know some words here and there, but we don't speak it. We're an English-speaking nation.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people speak Irish, right?
No, it's not that much. It's getting worse and worse. But I think the Welsh did a good job at keeping theirs, and so did the Catalonians in Spain. But Irish, not so much.
Not much. Okay, cool. So Taye, I've got the article. Do you want me to put up the Forbes article about Xbox, or do you have a specific article that you want?
No, you can put up the Forbes article on Xbox, and I'll get it.
Because I think the Forbes article touches exactly on that. Let's see, Forbes.
I can start reading it.
Okay.
How can Xbox justify another hardware generation after sharp declines? This is even the title is quite interesting because are you gonna tell us how they can, or what are you trying to say that like this doesn't make sense? Like, so I was like, okay, let's carry on. You can almost set your watch you can almost set your watch to it at this point. Another Microsoft quarterly report showing Xbox with double digits year-over-year hardware revenue declines, usually in the realm of about 10 to 30%. In the latest report, the figure was around 32% decrease, alongside a 9% drop in Xbox revenue overall. It's not a great mystery why this is happening. Over the years, Microsoft has put less and less emphasis on needing to actually own an Xbox to play games. For a while, that was a pitch for streaming many Xbox titles on other devices, from smart TVs to tablets. Now that's evolved into Xbox putting nearly all of its first party games on rival systems like Switch and especially PlayStation, either on day one or after an unknown amount of time. Okay. I think we can double back to that one. Let me just go to the next point. Then there are the price hikes, which Microsoft blames on marketing conditions. Sony too has had to deal with the increase of their own, but they're not seeing the 32% hardware drop. Nor are their prices as absurd as $800 for an Xbox Series X. It's more powerful than the PS5 Pro, costs less than the more powerful PS5 Pro costs less than that. All of this normally leads to the conclusion that Xbox is going to phase out its hardware business and turn into a more of a publisher subscription services with Game Pass and cloud streaming and other console publishing alone. But so far as we know it, that's not happening. So I think my first question here would be, they've increased the price, but why? Is it just because of the market conditions in terms of, you know, inflation and tariffs and all these things, or are there other reasons why? I think the other reason would be, and the question I would ask as well is like, is Xbox doing this on purpose, right? I don't think he doesn't touch on that. He doesn't mention that Microsoft themselves don't want to sell these devices at a loss anymore, which is important. He doesn't mention the fact that like Microsoft is looking to phase out the Xbox Series X and S because as far as they're concerned, they've lost this generation. When you've lost this generation, why would you want to take more L's on the price of the consoles, right? Why would you want to sell a device that you want to disappear?
Go on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, for minus 100 or minus $200. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. Richie says Microsoft USA are destroying themselves. The world and consumers don't trust them anymore. Their desire of control will be their downfall. Why, Richie? Why would you say such a thing? What is Microsoft USA like? How they're destroying themselves in comparison to what? To other tech industries like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Nvidia. Like, what are they doing to destroy themselves? When I was reading this article, the first part that just kind of obviously jumped out to me was that there was no mention of, wait, are they doing this on purpose themselves? Right? And is the reason why the consoles are doing so bad because of just the price increase? Is it because the consoles themselves just weren't really going to sell? You know? Like, that seems extremely important to me when you want to write an article like this. Or at least you should point out that, hey, the devices weren't really doing great and they weren't going to be doing great anyway. We don't believe these game consoles, because they're already going down, right? Even before the multi-platform approach, is the idea of play anywhere really what's causing the material effect or a large portion of the drop for the consoles? The fact that Xbox is saying, hey, cloud gamers, you don't need to an Xbox, just play it on the cloud. Is that really what's turning people away and say, okay, I'm just going to go and do it on cloud instead? The other questions that they weren't answered, well, the questions weren't even asked in the first place. What are your thoughts on that, Oshus?
So, I hear what you're saying, and like, of course, me and you always disagree with this, especially when it comes to Xbox. Like, that a lot of this is self-inflicted. And your main argument that I can never like sort of get past is the fact that, like, well, if you are in the position, you've already made these decisions already, you're in the position that they're in, what would you do? And unfortunately, given the decisions that they've made, they don't have a choice but to go ahead with this. But do they have the money to be able to pad themselves to compete? Yes, they do. It's just that I feel that that's not a focus. They're not interested in doing that anymore because hardware is not their primary driver. They don't see that as their future strategy, whatever their bigger picture is. And I always say this to guys that, like, for me, it's very difficult to understand what the success metrics for Xbox is, because it's difficult for Microsoft to define it themselves.
Why is that difficult to understand then? I guess I'm quite
Because
like what do you think their success metrics are?
It's got to do with stuff I'm not invested in, like cloud gaming and other services, like subscription related services. The closest I came to being interested in those subjects was probably Game Pass. And even Game Pass, there's a lot of hand waving in terms of how Game Pass makes money, and I've stopped engaging in those conversations because they're not relevant to me anymore. And I just wish they were just transparent and could tell you, okay, cool. When we sell 1 unit, we consider that a profit. When we sell 2 units, we consider that a profit. Now it's always these numbers that are so arbitrary, because when you look at the bigger picture, they don't really make that much sense to a guy like me, or a difference to a guy like me.
Okay, but okay, success in what way though? Like, okay, so
okay, I mean,
if they sell a console, like it's a €200 loss, like so it's a $200-300 loss. So what's the so no, I think I asked Richie a question. I think it's finally gone back. Because Windows wasn't just an OS, it was your house, your life, and everything. And Microsoft said it knows best and bloats Windows with trash and spyware. The change isn't fast, but it's happening. People still on Windows is because they think they don't have other options. My mom and aunt fight Windows 11 frequently. When I want to use Gemini, I open the Gemini app. Copilot tries everything to introduce itself everywhere.
Correct.
Okay.
So I know exactly what he's talking about. Like, I don't have that many issues with my PC, my own personal computer, but I have a lot of issues with, like, for instance, my work computer, because a lot of that stuff is server based, and AI fights with that stuff all the time. And there's so many, like, for instance, just trying to log into the computer using your fingerprint ID is so problematic, because there's an error there. There's a glitch that Microsoft is aware of that causes that. But on my PC, not so much, because I barely interact with Windows. I normally just use, like, for instance, my browser, or I'm playing games, but I never have to, like, work with Copilot on my personal computer. It's normally with my work computer. So I do agree with Reichi that it's broken a lot of things, and Microsoft is aware of it. And I think it's one of their chief engineers has put out a statement saying that they are aware that customers are experiencing these issues, and they're going to address them urgently. But again, that's very, to me, that is part of the future problem of Xbox. And how that is a problem for Xbox is the fact that they're moving away from the Xbox OS. If you remember what I always say to you, moving away from the Xbox OS to Windows is problematic. The Xbox OS has little to no issues or problems. The moment you put freaking Windows as your gaming platform, you open your world, or you open yourself up to so many issues that I don't care if you have the most brilliant engineers. That dude with a long beard is not going to fix problems that have been inherent with Windows for the last 5 decades, that are now being exacerbated by AI. I don't care how brilliant you are. For gaming, you're not going to get that right. It's going to take you years to get that right. You have a system that works, an Xbox OS that can run on its own, but you don't want to sell that. You want to sell people Windows. To me,
fair enough.
I don't understand why they want to. I know why, but I don't understand why they think they can grow.
But hold on, because I think that Windows point might come up later in the article. Actually, I doubt it though, because it's a very surface level bullshit article. So he says it's not a great mystery why this is happening. Over the years, Microsoft has put less and less emphasis on needing to actually own an Xbox to play games. For a while, that was a
okay. Let's stop there. Do you believe that statement?
Yeah, but I don't think that's a material fact. I don't think it's a material thing.
What do you mean it's not a material fact?
I don't think that's the reason why the console sales are dropping.
Oh, okay. I think it's a contributing factor, but okay.
Yeah, a contributing factor, but I think it's a very like minuscule. Like it's not that relevant.
Okay.
Because my point to you would be like there are some gamers that have said, "Yo, cloud gaming is the shit. I don't want PCs no more. I don't want consoles no more." That's a very small number, and those users were probably not high console users in the first place, right? So that's number one. If you're a console user, you are a console user. If you're a PC user, you're a PC user. So I think because those markets are separate, we're in a situation where just because Xbox is saying, "Hey, we're gonna put our game on cloud or mobile, whatever the hell it is," you're not gonna see a huge, massive shift from console users to now, because consoles don't really rock with cloud like that. Same to if you have a PC, you probably have a good enough rig anyway, or you have a decent rig. PC users are dabbling here and there with cloud gaming, but it's not a material thing. So, like to even say this in the article, it's like, okay, but it's not even a really material. Like I would have qualified it, but he didn't qualify it, which makes people think that it's a material fact.
Okay, fair enough. Please continue.
Now that's evolved into Xbox putting nearly all of its first-party games on rival systems like Switch and especially PlayStation, either on day one or unknown amount of time. Even that statement in itself, I don't believe the casuals have really copped on until recently that Xbox is doing this. And you're gonna need bigger titles for them to really understand, because everything could have been explained away before. Sea of Thieves is a live service game, and it wasn't bringing in new Xbox users anyway. People weren't buying it to play, so it's not really one of those games that's gonna like draw console users. What else did they put? Not High on Life, sorry. Hi-Fi Rush wasn't gonna, and everyone could kind of, oh well, it's a Japanese kind of game, it's it's musical kind of stuff. Everyone understood that. Even if a Fallout, even if Starfield went over, you could have made an argument that like, but this was already making it like, for on PlayStation and blah blah blah. Call of Duty as well makes sense. Diablo. The only real game that made people probably start to shift is when you put like your big title that is part of the main three: Forza, Gears, and Halo. So when Forza came, that's when it was more or less, at least some casuals cemented. But I still know casuals who don't know that Xbox is fully putting the games on PlayStation at this point. Like when they see Halo, that's when they'll really know. So what my point is, these numbers were never, they weren't material enough. The consoles were always doing bad. Like this didn't cause a huge, massive shift in the consoles doing worse, and we know that as well because these games were never system sellers, right? Me and you went through it some time ago where we looked at games like The Avowed and games like all like Indiana Jones, these Doom, these games didn't do crazy numbers on PlayStation. If they did crazy numbers, you can make an argument that like, oh wow, so, out of the 500,000 people that purchased Doom on PlayStation, how many of them would have actually bought an Xbox because it's not an exclusive? It's not even half, right? But go on.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you bring that up. So if these games are not doing well on the best-selling console this generation, how well do you think they're doing on Xbox?
Not that well, to be honest. I mean, they're doing probably well enough given its user base, but nothing too great. I think some of the games can be explained because maybe some genres do better on Xbox, and I think this is actually where Game Pass probably is benefiting these games a whole lot more, to be honest. But I've always kind of like mentioned this, that Xbox doesn't have console selling games, at least not when you take out Forza. I think Halo isn't really even a console. I think Halo kind of sells to the same people.
But like my question is, when did that start though? Because Xbox always had console selling games.
I think Gears and Halo were console
Gears,
selling
Halo,
games, and the
Fable,
I don't think Fable was a
and
console selling game. I,
it
I
used.
think I think the people I think it didn't do like anything special. I think it added, like I would say this: Fable is probably one of those games that does well on a platform but doesn't sell the platform.
No, but like I mean, the whole point about like games like that there is that regardless how successful your first party games are, they will never be the the main things that sell your console. But people always like that peace of mind. If you have that core, that hardcore audience that gravitates towards those games, then what happens is that then how I always looked at it is that like most gamers say, okay, cool, which console can I play Call of Duty on? PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. Okay, cool. Which console can I play Fortnite on? PlayStation 5, Xbox. All right. So, what is the main reason why I would want to play this game on PlayStation 5 versus Series X? And spoiler alert, it's not the features. No one is buying Xboxes because of quick resume. But if it happens to have another popular game like a God of War, like a Gears, like a Halo, you know what? I play Call of Duty, but I also play Halo. I'll give you, and I've said this, I've mentioned this to you. If you go back to the 360 era, if you look at the top 10 best-selling games or franchises of all time, there were two Xbox games there, and one of them was Halo. Today, Halo can't sell shit. Forza wasn't even in the top 20 in terms of like games that could sell Xboxes. So somebody dropped the ball in marketing Halo and making it a console seller. The franchise didn't just die. How many Halo games did they release last generation? One. I'm talking about like first-person shooters. I'm not talking about like the Halo Wars. One. How many did they release with the previous Xbox? You had Halo 3, you had Halo Reach, you had ODST, and you had Halo 4. Somebody's not doing their job. I'm sorry. Gears should have graduated with the Xbox One to being a 10 million plus seller, but it didn't. It actually regressed and did worse with Gears 4.
I don't know if it's fair to say to bring out like you know, like, oh, the last generation had 3 Halo games, because I don't think we're in a I don't think we're really in the industry now where you can see 3 of the same IPs per generation anymore, due to cost of development and due to, I think, fatigue as well. Like this is how Call of Duty, Tony Hawk, and even Ubisoft got screwed over, right, with the Assassin's Creed franchise, because even though everyone was like, oh, we want more, we want more, we want more. At some point, if you get in a Halo game every 3 years, it's gonna really hurt the franchise, I believe. And it's just like the cost of development.
So.
I think what Sony did really well here is that they said to themselves, okay, we've done Uncharted, which is great, but we need to move on from this, because if we don't move on, we're gonna be stuck in this this sequence of Halo, Forza, Gears. Halo, Forza, Gears. We don't want to be that. We want to keep bringing in new IPs that's going to attract new people, and Sony executed that really well. Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War remake, I guess you could kind of count that a little bit. Astrobot, you could also count Spider-Man, you could also count The Last of Us, right? And now they're even making Intergalactica, and I think that makes sense, because at least what Sony's banking on is that they have strong enough creative teams that they can make a brand new IP that will supplant the previous IP. Killzone, sorry, Horizon supplanted Killzone. Spider-Man, it's not really the IP, but it supplanted Resistance Fall of Man, right? And Ratchet and Clank as well. So I think so. And so even Astro Ball is probably, I think, maybe one of Japan studios probably best. I mean, I don't think it's the best selling game, but it's up there as one of the best games. Yes. I think Sony's not afraid to take these chances, and whereas Xbox, go on.
No, all I was gonna say is that all Sony did is that they used their developers to make other things. The only developer that we saw, and again, this was a new developer from a bunch of defunct studios, was Playground from Xbox. That was their only new offering. They were not investing in any money in the Xbox era in any new games or new IPs. I'll give you an example. So I compare the Series X generation and the Xbox One generation. They're very similar in the sense that like the technology is not drastically different. But look at how many games Naughty Dog released during that generation. Look at how many games what the Ghost of Yotei guys, Sucker Punch, eh?
Yeah.
They released how many games? And I think we had this discussion. Look at how many games even freaking the Horizon Zero Dawn guys released for the PS4. Each of them averaged 3 games. Now go back to Xbox's first party. How many games does 343 have for the Xbox One? Just one game. The rest were done by other studios. How many games does the Gears of War? At least Gears of War, we got 2 games. We got Gears 4 and Gears 5. Nothing from the Fable studio, nothing from any of the other studios that we were expecting things from the 360. Every big franchise that you saw in the PS4 from as a studio during the 360 era, during the PS3 360 era, that established themselves for Sony. Naughty Dog was an up-and-comer for them. They used to make Jack and Dexter. They transitioned to more serious games. Sucker Punch did the same. They used to make Infamous. They transitioned to more serious games. Same with Insomniac. I can give you all their studios that went on to do better things. Xbox's studios just regressed or died.
True.
But anyways, let's finish.
Well, Richie says many Xbox fans glaze Obsidian, but their games are not hitting. Apart from Grounded, they pump out 6, 7 out of 10 games, but it hurts Microsoft's image more than it helped. If Fable releases a 9 out of 10 with 50 million sales, now that gives Microsoft prestige. Did Fuzzy say something? Fuzzy said it would help if they actually marketed the game. I agree somewhat with Fuzzy and Reggie. Yeah, I think prestige is they need Halo and these other games to hit the way they should be here. Yeah. So I agree with you guys there. Then there's the price hikes, which Microsoft blames on marketing conditions. Sony too has had this. I think I already read this as well. So moving on, it says Xbox President Sarah Bond said back in November 2025 that hardware is absolutely core to everything that we do at Xbox, and the new Xbox will be a powerful experience that also enables people to take their library with them. Many have interpreted that as a Switch-like hybrid console, but it's clearly also leaning into the multi-platform hardware idea even more. The problem here is that the vast majority of existing Game Pass subscribers are on Xbox hardware. However much it's losing the sales race to Sony, or how much it declines year over year. If hardware is cut entirely, suddenly millions of players see the little reason to keep the subscription if they can go buy Xbox games piecemeal on PlayStation. That is a very important point. Do you have any thoughts on that?
That people will buy the games on PlayStation.
It's saying that the reason why Xbox can't get rid of the console is because there's a lot of Game Pass players on it, and if they get rid of the console, then you get rid of the Game Pass players.
But you know, I've always maintained this. I've always said this to you that, like, for me, my first question is, what do you do with the 25 million plus people that are all subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate on Xbox Series or Xbox One? What happens to that user base? Because you're not going to be able to maintain them with a hybrid that's going to cost over $1,000. Sorry, $1,000 US. I agree. I agree with what he's saying. Is that, like, how do you maintain that audience? Because you're not getting that from PC, but that's where you focus, and that's what you're reporting on in all your annuals. You're not reporting how many people you're getting from console. So, but like, if they're doing this, I have to believe then that they've done the numbers and they've crunched them and they've decided that no, we're going to be more profitable on PC. We don't need those 25 million console players.
But what he's saying is that, just to be clear, what he's saying is that, like, the reason why there's another console coming is because Xbox has Game Pass players, and if they were to abandon the console, they would abandon those Game Pass players.
Yes, I agree with him, but I'm saying the reason it's the same reason they just don't drop it, that they still sort of pulling people's strings with this. No, we're doing a hybrid console for you. That's the only. Otherwise, they just pull out and say, "Oh, sorry, we're going third party." They've got no other reason not to. The only reason that they're still doing this whole thing of saying no, we're making another console. Why? Every single time they get an opportunity, Sarah Bond will mention the fact that we're working on this wonderful hybrid console that is going to play PC and whatever games. It's because, to your point, and you said this in the past, that they're trying to transition that 25 million console players to a platform. They don't want to lose them. Good luck with them maintaining that whole thing, because pricing and all these other things matter, but they want to maintain that player base to some extent. That is why they're doing the hybrid console. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing any hardware thing at all, because they want to move away, in my opinion, completely from hardware.
Okay. That's a fair, like, yeah, they want to transition these players into a their ecosystem. And I think this makes sense. This is the best way to do it, by releasing a platform or a console-like device, which is PC, that essentially will do this. So to anyone saying that, like, and I always say to people like this, like, just do the numbers. Forget about your console fanboy hat for a second. Just do the numbers. What will be the benefit of them abandoning the console? There is no benefit. There's only losses here. And I think people underestimate how important subscription services are. For example, Sony has routinely touted the subscription services going up and how much value it brings to the PlayStation ecosystem. If the numbers are to be correct, Sony's PlayStation Plus accounted for I think 23%. 15 to 17% of the gaming revenue, or maybe around 20%, 15 to 20% of the gaming revenue. Xbox's accounts for around 22, maybe 25%. If you get rid of Game Pass, then you get rid of 25% of your revenue. That doesn't make sense.
You say it was something ridiculous like 7 billion?
5 billion. So, but in terms of like the overall revenue, like percentage of revenue, for Sony, it's around like 15 to 20%. And for Xbox, it's like 20% and upwards. Like, Sony wouldn't, like, the only reason why this makes sense is because in that 15%, you can't transition that 15% to sales, because those people are never going to buy these games in the first place, right? So same thing for Xbox. So whenever I say things like Game Pass, when you have a loyal consumer base that's willing to pay you $10 to $30 a month to access games, you got to remember, they've said that like Game Pass runs itself. Mm-hmm. They don't need additional parts, and Game Pass is profitable by itself, right? So they can take the money from Game Pass that they're making and just reinvest in Game Pass. And when it comes to the first party games, it has its own metrics that that they gauge success. So to get rid of a base of 30 something million people who are paying you money monthly that is guaranteed, for you to just say, yeah, I'm going to get rid of those people, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make financial sense whatsoever.
Exactly. So, but my thing is, like, again, there's so many ways that they could have done this, and unfortunately I just wish that they had someone that had foresight to be able to do all these things in a smart way where they can still do both. Because my whole thing to you was that it never needed to be an either or situation. You could have maintained a console market until it was feasible to transition without taking the risk of being the first person or the first company to come up with something like a hybrid that might or might not work. Because if that hybrid doesn't work, they can kiss that 25 million users goodbye. And their hopes is that, well, if we lose the 25 million subscribers, we'll catch them when they decide to buy PlayStations, or we'll catch them when they land on PC, which is what they're counting on, is that whoever we lose through the cracks of the Xbox console will catch them on PC. I hope that applies for them. I hope that works for them so that they can maintain their publishing studios. But there's so many ways that they could have done this, Ty. And one of the ways that they could have done this is that you don't need to put your entire platform, your entire library on one business model. that everything has to go everywhere. That is the dumbest shit that you could do, because now you eliminate the chance of having games that you can rely on to sell hardware if you still want to maintain the option of selling hardware. And I think they could have done that, but they just chose to just hard right into everything, just do a hard left into everything, just short left with everything. And unfortunately, where they are now, there's very little decisions that they can make to sort of like backtrack. It's the same thing they did with the Xbox One. There was a lot of opportunity, like that whole thing that happened with Don Matrick could have been fixed, and even the studios could have been repaired, and you could have still gotten to a position where Halo still sells consoles. But they took so long to do anything that by the time they did anything, it was too little, too late, and it wasn't good enough compared to the competition. They just could not keep up anymore. Like, it's an accumulation of, in my opinion, incompetence when it comes to running a gaming company. I really think every wrong decision they could have made, they made. They were lucky enough that they had a few good decisions, but I don't think that this team that they have running Xbox was ever going to get them where they needed to be, which is very simple, is that they wanted to dominate the console space. That's what should have happened, and then from there on, then they could have done all this other stuff. Now they're in a position where they're dead last, and they're now still trying to do all this other stuff, which to me I just think is just too taxing.
What other stuff?
Cloud, PC, all this other stuff.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, but it's always better to pivot from a position of strength than to pivot from a position of weakness. Very few companies can do that. It's the likes of your Nintendos, who have
they don't have. That's my point. They don't have strength. They're always going to lose the console part. I mean, we can disagree on that, but they're always lost there. Like whenever people, like I saw a comment from I think Idle Slot, and he was saying how all these games that came out, he was kind of listening of the Avowed and South of Midnight, and I'm just like, you think these games are going to sell consoles?
No, they won't.
Yes, so like I keep going back to this main point again. Like all these things are almost like immaterial. The quite like exactly. Apart from the the PlayStation user base with the libraries who like that ecosystem, I keep saying, what game was going to sell these consoles?
None.
And the only game is Elder Scrolls. They know this. This is why they're doing this, because like I've said this many times now. Amy Hood is probably telling them like, do we have a GTA like game? No. Do we have a Pokemon like game?
Let me ask you a question.
And then it's like, okay, so the only game we have that can sell consoles is Call of Duty, but we have to put on other platforms for revenue reasons because we made deals with the regulators. Okay, so what title do we have that's going to sell these devices? And the answer is Elder Scrolls, and that's too far away.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, you mentioned Elder Scrolls, so Elder Scrolls can sell consoles. What about Fallout?
It's too far away as well, yeah, unfortunately.
No, but I mean, like, to do a Fallout remake or remaster, that's gonna sell you fucking consoles.
It's not gonna sell. It's not gonna sell.
It's not gonna.
No. It will. No. Don't get me wrong. It will sell, but in
New Vegas.
Yeah, but like, no, it will sell. But like, wait, I'm pretty sure this game is primarily sales come from PC in the first place, right?
But they did great business. I mean, like Fallout did most of its business on console. Same with Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Okay, Fallout is one title as well, apart from
Elder Scrolls. So you've got Fallout, you've got Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
What about Starfield? Despite it being received mediocrely, was it not there?
No, I don't think it did the numbers for them.
Sure. Well, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about, like, if you look at, because the problem with Microsoft again is that they've got these stupid, like, have you ever heard of a monkey? What is it? They call it a monkey's paw. It's where you get like a charm that gives you or grants you all the wishes that you want, but there's a caveat, because for every good wish that it grants for you, it does something messed up to fuck you up. I'm sure you've heard of that expression.
No, I haven't heard of it.
But like, that's basically what it means. And the problem is, the monkey's paw in this situation is Game Pass. Because for every single time you put a game out there, you say, well, it's also available on Game Pass, and we also expect you to sell console. How? You can't have both, dude. Like, you can't have your bread buttered on both sides. You need to make a decision as to say, okay, cool. Are we putting everything behind subscriptions? If that's the case, then that's the model, which is what they've been saying. But I'm saying, don't expect to sell games on Xbox if you're still giving them away on Game Pass. This has even hurt Call of Duty.
So, I mean, they no.
Okay, go ahead.
No. The only reason why, like, I always talk about, like, what is a material thing, right? The only reason why we're having this discussion is because the consoles themselves are not selling. There's not enough users to make up the numbers. When people tell me about, let's actually read Rachel's comments. He says, Game Pass users try all Xbox games because they are on Game Pass. If I had to buy one of those games, I would maybe buy one out of 8 Microsoft games. Even PlayStation has had only like 2 first-party games this gen that has sold a relevant amount of consoles. Drop the price of Game Pass and remove COD. I agree with his first point about a lot of people keep thinking they're like, oh, it's a lost sale. Like, no one's gonna buy these games. The reason why subscription services work is because they're looking at you thinking, oh no, he was not gonna buy this game. They're right. I wasn't gonna buy Club Obscure. I wasn't gonna buy The Altars. I wasn't gonna buy most of these Game Pass games I've tried and played, which means that they're getting revenue from it that they never would have gotten.
Wait. Are you saying like Clear Obscure would not have sold if it was like, for instance, let's say Sony had that deal and then Sony released the game and they didn't release on a subscription service? You're saying it would have failed?
No, not at all. I'm saying that any subscription services work in the same way insurance works. There's 10 people on Game Pass, right? And you release a game. Out of those 10 people, the system works when maybe 3 of those people are always going to buy the game. So that's 3 lost sales. Mm-hmm. However, there's 7 people who are never going to buy the game are giving you money for the game via the subscription.
But like, dude, no, but like that money is not $60. It's not going to make up the cost that you would have made or the profit that you would have made from selling the game.
Yes, it would. On a bigger scale, it would have.
Sorry?
On a bigger scale, it would have.
Okay, what scale is that? Like, okay, so you release, let's say you sold. Let's say you released Halo Infinite, you sold it. You released Starfield, you sold it. You released all your games. And I have a strategy that they could have used, which they didn't. You release all those games retail. Like, and then you can look at this, like, and this is the fascinating thing if you study Xbox numbers. Mm-hmm. Go back to the Xbox One. The Xbox One.
Wait. Sorry, before I just interrupt you, I want to skip into an example real quick. Mm-hmm. High on Life. 7 million Game Pass players.
Yeah.
7 million. How many of those million people do you think we're actually going to buy the game full price? Is it 10, 20, 100, 1,000, 200,000? 7 million players played on Game Pass.
I think High on Life, because of the fact that the dude who makes it is very famous, it could have done 1 million easily if it was, like, let's say it was released on Sony's platform. It could have done over 500,000 easily.
No. Well, hold on. We're talking about Xbox ecosystem. Just the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah, well, okay. Is this Xbox's ecosystem with Game Pass?
Yeah.
Then it won't sell anything.
No. Sorry. No Xbox ecosystem Game Pass. Remove Game Pass. It just releases on Xbox ecosystem because Xbox buys as an exclusive.
With marketing, it would have, because that's how people learn how to purchase. People, if you selling the game for $40, it would have sold over 1 million if it was marketed as an Xbox exclusive first-party game. That's always worked. Going back to the Xbox One had better sales in terms of like first-party games actual selling than the Xbox Series X. And the reason for that is because people don't buy games because they know that they're coming to Game Pass.
Wait, what? People don't buy in because they know it's coming to Game Pass?
Yes, on Xbox. Why would you buy a game? Like, this has been proven. Game Pass, they've admitted this, that Game Pass does hurt sales.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, if the game is coming to Game Pass, yeah.
Exactly. So
okay.
So,
but that's not my question. My question: High on Life was $60.
Yes. No, it wasn't $60. It was $40.
I think Fuzzy is saying it was $60.
No, it was $40 when it was released. I'm pretty sure it was $40.
No, I think you're okay. High on Life retail price. Just 40. Yeah. Oh, 40 on Steam. Let's see what it was on Xbox. Wait, actually, is this the actual retail price of High on Life? You can find first marketplace. Just can you double check when High on Life was the price of High on Life?
I'm just checking. So go on, read the article while I do this so that we can get through this.
No, because this part is because obviously Fuzzy is involved in this discussion now. So is Rachie, because Rachie is telling you that, like, he's saying, yo, I would have never played High on Life. It wasn't on Game Pass. I would have never purchased that. Rachie says I would have never purchased that piece of shit game. Fuzzy's saying the same thing too. He's saying, fuck that game. I would have never played that. I'm joking.
So it says the High on Life generally retails approximately for $39 to $49 across major platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch.
It would have had.
So again, I don't doubt that, like, you guys would have never bought that game. But again, what I'm saying is that if you
so just to be clear, you think from a transactional point of view, Xbox lost more money,
correct,
on High on Life being on Game Pass than they would have if the game was on Game Pass and was on retail as well?
Is Xbox Game Pass in the equation? Is a subscription service that puts games day one in the equation? Yes.
No. I'm saying, yeah. Okay, so to be clear, it reached 7.5 million players before it reached PlayStation. So that's 7.5 million people played it.
So let's look at where people paid for it. Like, let's look at PlayStation and see what it sold. But go on. I just want to see how much it sold on PlayStation. I'm just searching for that now.
But I don't think we need PlayStation in this equation because we're talking about Xbox.
But like, this is not an Xbox game. This is not even a first-party game. This is a third-party game. It could have been on. But
what I'm trying to say is that, like, they got as an exclusive. They come out on PlayStation. It was an exclusive for the console. The same way Stellar Blade was an exclusive for PlayStation. So we can take it as what it is.
Okay, but then you can't use the problem with that example, Ty, is then you can't use Series X and S for that. You need to go back to the Xbox One and you need to look at those examples. You need to look at games like, for instance, Rise, Son of Rome. You need to look at, like, for instance, when
but why? We can
you can't,
because
the fact that, like, the moment you use Game Pass, it changes how people feel about purchasing games on your platform.
Why?
What do you mean why? Like, dude, if I don't have to buy a game, I can get it on Game. Like, the reason I don't buy
no. I know that. What I'm trying to say is, I'm asking you that High on Life reached 7.5 million people. The reason why I was able to do that was because it was on a subscription service where those people were paying Microsoft regularly $15, $20, $10, whatever the hell it was, $25 a month as a group. And the reason why those people stay paying is because there is content coming like High on Life. What I'm saying, so High on Life is pivotal for them staying in Game Pass, for keeping those users subscribe to Game Pass. What I'm saying is that, like, how many of those 7.5 million users who are staying because of the content of Game Pass do you think would have went to go purchase High on Life?
A couple of million. I said to you, I really think High on Life would have been able to do it over if it was marketed as exclusive and Game Pass was not part of the equation.
No, but it wasn't exclusive, so we don't talk about marketed as an exclusive.
It was a timed exclusive, yes.
I mean, no, they never announced when it was coming out on PlayStation, so it wasn't exclusive as far as everyone was concerned.
Yeah, but it only came out on PlayStation later. It didn't come out at the same time.
Yeah, no. So just no. But what I'm saying is like you're playing tricky with the words here. You're saying, well, if it marketed as exclusive, it wasn't exclusive.
Sorry.
It wasn't exclusive.
Yes, it was exclusive, yes.
Okay, so don't say market. Yeah, so don't say market as an exclusive.
Because of the fact that you don't have to market a game really if it's on Game Pass. You don't have. You give it limited marketing. Like look at Xbox right now. Their entire marketing strategy is built around subscription.
Forget marketing. Forget marketing. I'm just asking. So you think 2 million Xbox players?
Yes, I think it would have done best case scenario would have done about 1.5 million. Worst case scenario would have done over 500,000.
Best case scenario 1.5 million. High on Life would have. Okay. Fuzzy, Rachie, do you think High on Life would? Yes. I mean, fair enough. I mean, Rachie, do you think High on Life would have sold 1.5 million on the Xbox consoles? I think that's fair. So you think based on that, Microsoft actually lost money? They lost money based on this deal.
Why are you choosing High on Life for this example? Because it was not even
because we're looking at a popular game that came out on Game Pass and is an exclusive to Xbox.
Sorry?
It was an exclusive. Because we're looking at a popular game that was an exclusive to Xbox.
Well,
which example do you want to use?
I want to use an example that is actually an Xbox exclusive. That is actually a game that was well received, that was anticipated, that actually had some sort of like steam, like Starfield. High on Life to me is a very obscure title that is one of them. Like it's very. If we're talking about like, for instance, games similar to Expedition 33, I would understand why you bring up High on Life. But in this particular example, I'm trying to understand why is High on Life so relevant to us trying to explain Xbox selling first-party games or selling exclusive games? Do you think? Okay, let me ask you this question, and then we can move on with the article. Do you think if Expedition 33 was an Xbox exclusive that was launched or published by Xbox, not on Game Pass, would have been successful?
If it wasn't on Game Pass and it was an exclusive, no, they need more. No, I think. Oh, that's actually a tricky one. That's a good one. But let me not try to dance around too much with qualifiers. I'll just give an answer. I think Expedition 33 being on Game Pass benefited. They got more money from. Actually, no.
No Game Pass. Now it's being Microsoft is doing what Sony. Microsoft is doing exactly what Sony is doing with Stellar Blade, that game.
You're saying would they have made more money from it being on?
I'm saying, what do you think the game would have sold if it was being released on Xbox as an exclusive?
It could have a million plus, I think.
Okay. I agree.
A million plus, I think, yeah.
I don't even know what the player numbers. Do you know what the player numbers were?
I think it was most players were on Game Pass on Xbox, and then I think Steam was next. But in terms of sales, Steam was up on top, and then it was then it was on PlayStation. But the reason why I think Expedition is a little bit trickier is because I don't know if people are signing up to play game Expedition on Game Pass. Like, I don't think you get really many new subscribers. I think the fan base, the Xbox Game Pass subscribers will check it out, which I think they did. But I don't know if someone's like, oh yeah, let me go subscribe to Game Pass and play this. Now, I do think when you were offering them the Oblivion, Clear Obscure, and Doom in a short amount of time, I think those three games as a whole brought in new Game Pass players. And I know that from a subjective point of view, because I know at least 3 people who signed up just because they had all those games to play. And I even told them, like, oh, don't forget about Avowed, don't forget about South of Mina. And they were like, oh yeah. So I think the value proposition was really good during those last couple of months, during those months. So people subscribe. If Club Scare wasn't there, and if all those who wasn't there don't have subscribed.
Okay, so I just got one last question before we just so we can finish this point. I don't want us to dwell too much on this. Still want to go get some sleep. So the games that they released, let's say, let's take the games from the last showcase. It was Doom Eternal, it was South of Midnight, it was Ninja Gaiden 4, it was I might be missing one or two, but like all those type of games that they announced during their showcase that were released, and a lot of them did not perform as desired, even though they were well reviewed and well received. They didn't perform as well as they wanted. In fact, a lot of them bombed. I've got a little slide there where I can tell you which one bombed and which one didn't. Do you think those games would have done just as well if they were released as exclusives that were not tied to Game Pass?
Which games are you talking about again? Sorry, I was trying to like search for something.
Eternal, South of Midnight,
Mm-hmm.
Avowed. What was the other one? Ninja Gaiden 4.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think Game Pass helped every single one of those games. Every single one of them. South of Midnight, Ninja, like South of Midnight had 1 million players. You think 1 million people are going to buy that game? You think 500,000 people are going to buy that game?
So you really think that those games did better on Game Pass than they would have if they were marketed as exclusives?
100%.
And given the sort of push that you normally give exclusives.
100%. Do you want to know why we can even like do this equation? Because we can look at the biggest platform, which was Steam and PlayStation, and see how
they were not released on PlayStation up until recently.
No, Ninja Gaiden was, right?
Ninja Gaiden was, yes.
So we can say, okay, well, how well did Ninja Gaiden do on Steam and PlayStation? And if it does crap there, on the weakest platform, it's going to do good.
But like the only difference there is that Xbox was responsible for the marketing, and that game did not get any freaking marketing. Versus how Sony markets, like, because Ninja Gaiden 4 is a better game than Stellar Blade in terms of core mechanics, but Stellar Blade is so better marketed when it comes to it. And I'm just mentioning a thing, and a platformer like South of Midnight, the first thing I said is that like this is being marketed to the wrong people.
Like just to be, I know we don't like always like to do this AI thing, but like I'm just so sure of this, and I wanted to keep going back and forth with you on this, but I was like, because if we're gonna move on, let's just at least get the answer. So I asked AI, I said, if High on Life was not on Game Pass, how many sales do you think it would have had? And it said like 30 to 50,000 to 200,000 sales likely. This is exclusive to Xbox. It says High on Life launched as a day one Xbox Game Pass title on December 13, 2022, reaching 7.5 million unique players by April 2023, mostly from Game Pass subs, not sales. Steam data shows strong initial sales, 200k and 11 million revenue in the first month. Blah blah blah. Total Steam players 500k to 1 million. Total Steam players 500k to 1 million. A lot of them with post-launch discounts. Xbox sales were minimum due to Game Pass cannibalization. True. It ranked low despite hype. Just enrolling over Game Pass boosts sales 7 times for indies via exposure. Don't care about that. Creating a war chest for sequels. Without Game Pass, hype for Roland's Nick Rotti would have faded fast. Mixed reviews. Its length, its 60 price. Oh, I guess your man is right. It did come out at 60, I think. And for a new IP and small studio, would have affected it.
Yes, I agree.
So, anyways, but it didn't really give a clear answer there.
I agree with everything.
But then I asked a question. I said, so would you say Xbox made more money from its being on Game Pass than they would have if the game was not on Game Pass? And it says, yes, Xbox certainly made more money with High on Life on Game Pass than without it. Xbox net revenue from Game Pass far exceeds low sales scenario. So what it's trying to say here is that, like, yeah, the sales that you would have gotten from High on Life was going to be maybe X. However, with Game Pass, you're going to lose those sales, but you make up for it in the people who are never going to play the game, who are now staying subscribed to your ecosystem because of the game. Again, I've like Richie said it himself. He's like played like 10 games on Game Pass that he'll never buy. Same thing with me. The only Game Pass title I was ever going to purchase was Starfield. And these motherfuckers released the early access version that I ended up purchasing anyway. So they made more money off me, right? Regardless. Yeah. There's no other Game Pass title that I'm playing that I was ever going to buy. The Altars, was that going to do well on Xbox? No, it wasn't. But it adds to the marketing and the value proposition of Game Pass. Same thing for
as I said to you, like
same thing for Ninja Gaiden.
But Ninja Gaiden, like look, I really think that, like, again, for me to make this sort of like that comparison, we would need to look at all the Xboxes before you introduced Game Pass, and you created an ecosystem that sort of like you've taught your players, like there's no question about it, that when we release games, get them on Game Pass. It's the best way to get them, and then you can try them. And the problem with that today is that Game Pass takes away that whole sort of like the moment you commit to, because people aren't going to buy every game that comes out, and Game Pass gives them an out to be able to sample games and not commit. When you spend money on a game, you commit and you tend to sort of like follow through. With that culture, it's changed how Xbox gamers consume games. As a result, you're just not going to get as many people on that platform buying games.
Yeah, but to be clear, that's for games that are on Game Pass.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I guess my point is, why would I be subscribed to Game Pass and then buy a game, like the same game, when it's available on the service?
Because you care about ownership. You don't.
How many do you really think gamers care about ownership?
Yes, I think there's a lot of gamers that care about ownership.
No, like, do you think like overall they care about ownership like
yes,
that? Like to the level that you think they do.
Well, I don't know what that level is and how you quantify that, but like based on recent, the fact
I'm saying right here, right now, if like Steam was like, oh, you know, everyone right now can rent games on, you know, Steam Pass or whatever it is, and you all get like 3 months free. It affects no, they do buy it, but it affects the sales, right?
But like, let me ask you a question. Didn't Steam publish a recently a report saying the fact that like most of the people that are on their platform buy games that they don't play?
Yes,
those are not subscribers. Those are people that want to collect things and own things.
No, because the Steam sales makes them, it turns them into addicts. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's what they buy the games to collect them. There's a lot of people. A huge part of PlayStation's core. When I talk about hardcore gamers, they're the ones that even want the physical disc. This is why Sony is still shipping consoles. Even their next console is
no, it's not true, because I think the data came out of like 80% of all the purchases are all like disc based. Sorry,
but that's not the core. The 20% is the core.
No, but they're reducing. No, because Ushers, you are the core, but guess what? You buy digital games.
But I buy them to own them. But I'm saying to you, in a platform like Sony, like if I bought games on PlayStation, I'd buy them on disc. I wouldn't buy them digitally.
Wait, so Xbox gamers are no core?
No, like a lot of Xbox, as like most of their games don't release disc copies. In fact, they've not been released.
No, like they're core. So why are they not buying the games? Why are they using Game Pass instead?
Like they have a core, but they have a far smaller core base than PlayStation.
No, I think you're missing my point. Sony said it themselves that when we put Horizon Forbidden West on our subscription service, sales went down. Our expected sales went down. That's what they said. Yeah, we all know this. So PlayStation is going to go down. It will go down for Steam as well. Maybe not as much at the start, but like it will go down. It's going to go down at some point.
What do you mean? What are you arguing? Are you arguing physical discs, or are you arguing ownership?
No, I'm saying, okay. Game Pass, if a game is on Game Pass, it cannibalizes sales. I think I agree there. I'm saying that the reason why a subscription service like Game Pass works is because the amount of subscribers you have doesn't equate to every single sale. Therefore, there's somebody giving you money and you're making money of that person that you would have never got in the first place, right? So the point here is the LTV, like what is the lifetime value of this specific player, and the lifetime value Xbox would have got off me my own example is I would have purchased Starfield, so that's $70 for them, right? Cool. What else would I have purchased? Well, FIFA once. That's it. So maybe you would have got $100 off me. That's it. I don't buy games on a regular basis. I'm content with Starfield and FIFA. Maybe I would have got another FIFA game on sale. What I'm saying is that I've purchased probably 4 years of Game Pass, but I was only ever going to give you like $150 for the generation. Now you've taken like $400 off me or $300, whatever it is. I'm saying to Xbox, that's a win right there. They've gotten more money out of me from titles. I'm not a lost sale for the alters because they're not going to buy it. I'm not a lost sale for clubs.
So can I ask you a question?
Fire away.
Are you subscribed to Game Pass right now?
Yeah, I have a subscription service going. I'm not subscribed. But I have a
do you subscribe yearly? Like, do you just leave your subscription rolling?
No, I don't. I'm not crazy.
Okay, there we go. So again, like this problem becomes emblematic the more higher we go, because I didn't say. I think people are still doing the same thing of just letting it run in the background.
I can probably guarantee you most people are letting it run in the background,
even though it's at the current cost that is at.
Well, to be clear, Game Pass, most of its subs are probably, I don't think it's probably Ultimate. I think it's actually the mid tiers.
But then the problem with that is that they muddied the waters there. A lot of that.
No, but they all do. Like, so does Sony. Sony doesn't tell you specifically. They're like, well, this one makes this. I think they might have before.
Not doing it, but I'm saying the problem with that is the fact that then it's not a matter of like the ultimate guys are the guys that are making you the most money. That's the tier that's making you the most. You count it as it used to be gold, and gold was just you being able to pay for internet and getting 2 games or 1 game or free game a month, an old game. That's very different to what we talk about when we talk about Ultimate, the product that Xbox markets and sells, the one where all the benefits, everything that puts it apart. Otherwise, it's just like PSN, and PSN is better value.
No, it's not.
If you take away Ultimate, where you don't get games day one,
how's it better value?
Before Game Pass came along, Gold was far worse.
No, Gold. Game Pass has 3 tiers.
Yeah.
It has the Gold version, the middle version, and it has the Ultimate version. Yeah. PlayStation also has 3 tiers. The equivalent of Gold, which is Sony PlayStation Plus, €60 a month for €60 a year, or 70 or 80, whatever it is, for online games. Then at the middle tier, which is what Xbox also has, which is it's not day one games, but it's like a high selection of games. Then Xbox then has the next tier, which is Ultimate day one games. Sony has a third tier that is just more games, but it's not like day one games. What I'm saying is that with Game Pass Ultimate, Xbox has, I think they've said that like games will arrive there 1 year later, right? Sony hasn't made any claim like that. Horizon Forbidden West is not there. Spider-Man 2 isn't there. God of War isn't there. So it doesn't release that like their
they do release their games a year later. I mean, I think
no, on the subscription service. No, they don't.
Yes.
No, they don't. I think they put it there and then they take it away. Like Last of Us wasn't there for ages.
Yeah, but like they do it. Like, let's not get it twisted. They do it.
Yeah, but we're talking about value, though. No, but we're talking about value. I'm telling you that like the people who are on the mid tier in Game Pass will get Forza Horizon 1 year later. We'll get Fable 1 year later. We'll get Club Obscure 1 year later. We'll get Clockwork 1 year later.
Right?
I'm saying, is Sony going to give you Club Obscure 1 year later? Are they going to give you, Ghost of Yote 1 year later? Are they going to give you Last of Us? Are they going to give you Spider-Man 2 1 year later?
Okay, so here's the tiers, right? I'm going to read them to you. So Essential from Sony, you get online play. From Xbox. You get online play and you get a curated library of old games of 50 games, plus minus. The basic tier Sony has is Essential, which is online play, cloud saves, 3 to 4 monthly free games to keep, right? And then Premium, which is the second tier that Xbox has now, 200 plus games plus online multiplayer. The next tier, which is also $14.99 from Sony, which is extra, it's 400 plus PS4 and PS5 titles, including Ubisoft Plus. right? And then Ultimate, which is the $29.99, you get the day one releases, 400 plus games, EA and Ubisoft access. Their premium versions, which is the equivalent to that, is $17.99. Everything extra plus classics, PS1, PSP, etc., etc. The only tier that they do not, oh yeah, of course, the one thing that they don't have in that tier is day one games. But it says here Sony Pictures, movie streaming, classic catalog, everything in extra. And of course, whenever those games reach extra, which is literally a year later, that's $17.99. So you're not going to get them day one, but you do get them like a year later. And that's $17.99. And that's comparable to the $29.99. Just without the day one.
Wait, so are you saying the highest tier? So you're saying the highest tier
is $17.99.
Oh yeah, okay, actually, yeah. But wait, what you get with the highest tier? Like what are the confirmations?
You get everything in extra, which is online, cloud saves, a game catalog of 400 plus PS4 and PS5 games, Ubisoft classics, Sony picture movie streaming, game trials, classic catalog, PS1, PS2, and PSP games.
Okay, you're saying that's a better value proposition than than the Xbox equivalent.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in terms of pricing, it's still priced way lower.
How much is the Xbox Essential tier?
Essential is $9.99. It's the same as the Microsoft Essential tier. Sorry, it's the same as the Sony Essential tier.
And what's Microsoft's next tier?
Premium, and then Sony's is called Extra, and they both $14.99. Sony's gives you 400 plus games. Microsoft gives you 200 plus games.
Okay. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe PlayStation Extra is better. I think the only reason why I would have said Xbox One was better is simply because I think the day one games come like 1 year later. So you get Call of Duty 1 year later, you get Avowed 1 year later, you get all these other games 1 year later. Even the titles like Club Scare could be there 1 year later, right? Because Microsoft just puts it down the tier. Stalker 2 1 year later, whereas I think Sony never made that claim. And what Sony has done is that they've taken I don't know if they put the big games on their premium tier. That's the reason why I would have thought the Xbox One was better, but obviously I haven't tried it, so I wouldn't be able to confirm that.
Okay, but anyways, we can go forever when it comes to.
Fuzzy says I wouldn't pay for subscription service without a day one game. That's where all the value is.
That's an interesting point, and to a certain degree I agree with you, Fuzzy. It's the same reason I stopped paying for PS Plus. So Ty, I don't know, I don't think we're gonna finish the article just for time purposes. Do you want to round up? Do you know who wrote the article? I just want to ask you that.
Not Tom. What's this guy's name again?
Paul
Tassi.
Yes, and you know that he's your type of guy most of the time.
Really?
Would you not say?
But let's continue on.
Okay, continue. I just want us to take a break. I think people have had enough of us going back and forth. But they'll continue with the article.
Okay, so the problem here is that the vast majority of Xbox, already did that. It feels like a trap. Xbox almost has to make hardware despite an extremely obvious reduced appetite for Xbox hardware that began all the way back in the Xbox One era, with Xbox 360 being the last time Microsoft was tied with Sony's offering. Eventually, Microsoft stopped posting hardware sales figures altogether, but they are not high, and dropping 32% from not high is not good. The other factor here is AI, which as it stands has almost nothing to do with the current Xbox ecosystem. Microsoft is leaning hard into AI, as is every other tech giant, namely focused on Copilot, which has been less well received as a platform than some of its rivals. Continue to invest in a non-AI based video game brand and subscription service, one that has not capitalized on enormous acquisition like Activision Blizzard, may not be attractive. Jamming AI into hardware, Xbox Copilot, or what have you would drive even more fans away, which has always happened in droves. Final paragraph. Xbox would not be the first big name console brand to die. With Sega and Atari two big examples in decades past, Microsoft would also not be the first in big tech to abandon, reduce its gaming arm. Google left the space entirely after its Google Stadia streaming project failed. Meta threw billions into VR-based metaverse with little to show for it besides a new company name. Amazon has closed down game studios over the past few years, and its biggest contribution to gaming is owning Twitch, the game streaming platform. It's possible that in its pursuit of AI, Xbox could fall by the wayside, no matter what executives are saying. It seems unsustainable at best. Yeah, I don't know, what the hell.
You don't agree?
Well, the first thing it says here is that it feels like a trap. Xbox almost has to make hardware despite an extremely obvious reduced appetite for Xbox hardware. That has all the way. Yeah, I can agree with this statement. I agree with this statement overall, like a reduced appetite, but it's a reduced appetite to take a loss on a device. The device can sustain itself, then sure.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we're just going to get other manufacturers to help us make it because we're moving towards the ecosystem. So there is a reduced appetite to make hardware because their hardware isn't the main source of revenue anymore. However, a lot of it comes to the fact that, like, yeah, we don't really think the hardware needs to be a thing for us to make money because Steam doesn't make hardware, right? They make a lot of games. All these other publishers don't make hardware and they make a lot of money. So if we can get all the OEMs to make it for us, like, I mean, Lenovo's been making handheld consoles devices. So yeah, we have a reduced appetite, but also because we're losing $200 on these consoles. So if we're not losing $200 on these consoles, then we don't mind making them. And this is the part I think is really important. Why didn't he bring up the idea of the fact that, oh, they've actually done this before? This is what they're doing with the Surface. All Surface devices, they're not released at a loss, and they keep releasing them.
I hate that example.
So if the device sells itself, but it's the truth though, right? Correct?
Look, it works, but like, again, we're comparing apples, not even oranges, and popos or mangoes. It's such different things. Like, yes, is it Microsoft? This is how Microsoft operates? Yes. But the problem is anyways, no, I don't want to get it. Continue. Finish.
Well, I mean, that's my point, because the Surface is the example that they've done this for. Like, there's an actual example of them making this like towards this kind of pivot. Because when people say, like, well, everything's on Xbox, the ecosystem is everywhere. But so is Windows, and they still make Surfaces. So is Google, so is Android, but Google still make Pixel phones.
Correct. So can I ask you a question? And then I know what you're gonna say, but like, can you compare Surface sales to MacBook Pro? Not even MacBook Air, MacBook Pro sales.
No, you can't. You can't. But I think that
they're targeting the same audience, more or less.
Yeah, but that even further proves my point.
Okay, explain. Elaborate.
Hold on.
I think I'm
just
running
1 second.
too many videos concurrently.
I'm just looking up a data point. So apparently, Surface laptops account for 1 to 2% of all PC or PC laptops, right? So 1 to 2%. So the question is that I will put to you first.
What about MacBook?
No, I mean, forget MacBook for a second. Like, yeah, MacBook is much higher. But my question to you is, do you think the Xbox console makes more money than the Surface brand?
When you say a console, you also have to include software.
Yeah.
If you
The
exclude
Xbox, yeah.
software, then
If Xbox
of
released
course
a
not.
console by itself right
That's not how
now,
consoles work. The business model is that you sell a console, you sell hardware
okay, how does this? How does a Surface model work?
with no software.
How does a Surface model work?
It works how most OEMs work. You don't sell at a loss. Everything that you sell at cost.
Okay, so which one makes more money, the Xbox device or the Surface device?
Again, the business model is different, dude. Like Xbox makes more money,
okay,
or makes more revenue but has more overheads.
If you wait, if you buy a Surface laptop, Xbox makes their money via its services, right?
Yeah.
Potentially, aka Office,
Yes,
the Windows license, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm saying when you buy an Xbox, Xbox makes more money from microtransactions, the games, the Game Pass, all this kind of stuff. I'm saying, which do you think makes more money overall?
The store is.
Which one makes more money? Which one do you think? Xbox. Okay, fine. So you're
hands down Xbox.
Okay, so hands down Xbox. Cool.
Xbox,
so I'm saying that like these guys are still releasing a device that makes up 1% to 2% of the market, that only makes X amount of money, whereas they can release an Xbox device that will probably be maybe 10%, 15, 20, 30, whatever percent is going to be. It's going to be higher than 1% anyway. And it's also going to make more money. Why would you, like, if you're going to make a device that makes less money and has less market share, why wouldn't you make a device that makes more money and has more market share? Like, that's my point to these people. Like, it just makes sense.
I'm too tired to understand what you just said.
How the hell are you too
tired? Very complicated. Like, I can't even follow your point right now. We need a break. Let's take a break. I want us to take a break. Wait.
Sure, no worries.
You're busy here with all your, with your marketing speak here, trying to bamboozle me. Let's take a break. Have you ever heard of a channel called guys? Thank you for joining us, Rachie. My brother Jeremy, literally my brother. Guys, thanks for being here with us. We always enjoy you guys keeping us company during these conversations. But I really think like, yeah, let's give me a chance to absorb what Taya just said. Let's take a break. Have you ever heard of a channel called Flash Kids? Taya?
Oh, you're talking to me. I thought you were talking to the guys. No, I've never heard of that.
No. Have you ever heard of a channel called Flash Kids?
No, I never heard of it.
Sound familiar?
No, never heard of it.
So I thought I would bring you something from that channel. Like, I wanted to share this. These guys, I highly recommend them. If you've never seen their work, please go check it out. They make some of the most awesome stuff I've ever seen when it comes to just entertaining videos. And I thought, given the conversation that we're having, this would be ideal for that. It will be a nice break. Let's see. Can I find this video? Hopefully they haven't taken this off. This is some of the coolest stuff ever. Flash Kids. And then we can proceed and resume what we're talking about. Let's see. Where is it? All right, got it. Took me a minute. Okay. Guys, please go check this guy's channel out. They make some awesome content. Some of my favorite content.
To find you well. We have suffered incalculable losses to the Japanese menace. Sometimes I wonder, what sort of world will our son grow up in? I'd thought crossplay would thaw these icy relations with the Japanese. Thank God they didn't. I just wouldn't want our boy to miss out on the chance to kill as many of the evil creatures as I have. The way they scream, Martha, you would not believe the sound. It is a noble cause, if ever there was one, but it sometimes feels as if High Command has abandoned us entirely. Indeed, my darling, I fear this letter may be my last. There is a great terror that stalks no man's land, a beast with corded tendons and bulging muscles, talons sharp and long. God help us. We thought Kratos was bad. Yours forever, Edgar. Box 1. X. What is it?
It's Jenkins, sir. He went over the top. Oh, God! Oh, no!
She's gonna kill him! I gotta go to save him! Damn it! Abby has him now! What now?
The PlayStations are approaching! What is that?
Dear God! It's hideous!
Behold! My divine beauty! Xbox Oneers! You have been abandoned by your leadership! Lay down your arms! And we give each of you a free waifu apparel!
Do you think the Xbox players took the waifu pillows?
No, they did not. Definitely not.
Here, if you did.
What should we do, Captain? Is this it?
No. I don't care that we have no games. That all of our franchises have died. That after 7 years all...
I was gonna say no too, but I think you just convinced me, dude.
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't have any games. I do like the titties.
But what?
Not so fast.
Get us live the day.
You see? We just had to hold out hope! Phil Spencer has sent us a vengeful angel!
Oh no, it's Master Chief.
Ha! Your only game is a ramen noodle.
Who said it's our only game? Sorry I took so long, boys. Daddy had some deals to make.
My dearest Martha, by God, Phil Spencer has done it. We have games again. It turns out all we needed was $7.5 billion. Oh, and could you stop by GameStop and trade the boy in for a Series X? That would be super rad, thank you.
Love that. Love that.
You know, consoles aren't the only place to get your fix, you filthy addict. Nah! What's your poison?
Yeah, so Flash Kids, they do this type of shit all the time. Awesome channel. Hey, Cass, welcome. Glad to have you in our intense discussion about everything gaming and Xbox. So I think you've seen this one before, right?
Yeah, no, I've seen the previous ones. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, they do great content. But I think for me, for a lot of Xbox, console fanboys, that sort of was like the thing. Like I was part of that group back in the day. Like, hey, Phil Spencer has come true, and he's brought us games. Oh dear,
Oh.
what a time! It feels like it was a different. Yes, Reggie, it did not end well. It did not age well at all. Okay, so Ty, do you want to finish and then we can move to?
But that was pretty much it. I disagreed with the hardware question because again they just keep refusing. It's like people can't understand this idea that wait, you can leave the console space and then pivot towards a PC pre-built PC market. You can leave the console space and release a device that sells itself when you sell it at cost or at profit. Oh wait, you can release a device that adds to your ecosystem but isn't the main driver of the ecosystem. Is that possible? And then you have all these service examples. You have Sony doing it as well with the PlayStation, sorry, with the Sony Xperia. You have Sony releasing the PlayStation Portal, which isn't the main driver of obviously the games, but it adds to it. Like you can release devices that add to your ecosystem.
Yeah.
But these console players are like, no. The console has to be the main driver. It's just, and so when I see these analysts or these people talk about these, it's just like, oh, fuck me, man. Like, all these surface level bullshit takes.
Yeah, it was like funny enough, like Politassi, I typically disagree with him in most of his takes. I'm very indifferent to this because I try to avoid any Xbox. As a former export, I try to avoid any Xbox conversations because I'm just not that vested into that ecosystem anymore. And for me, Steam is the perfect platform for gamers. And that's where I spend most of my time now. So I have opinions on this stuff, but there's no hill that I'm willing to die on. I'm not willing to die on any hill for any manufacturer or publisher. Cass, thank you. No, I'm doing good. Thanks. I'm doing good. And Raichi is absolutely spot on. The Abby was the best Easter egg. I thought that was so well done. I really enjoyed that, and I love all the stuff that they do with the console wars. Going back to the ones with the 360 and the PS3, brilliant stuff. Okay, cool. So I think let's move on, Tai. So the next thing that we wanted to talk about as part of our discussion is Crimson Desert. How much of this game have you seen, and what are some of your thoughts on Crimson Desert?
I haven't seen too much about it, to be honest. No, I have, but like in terms of the new stuff, I just haven't really checked it out.
Is this a game that's on your radar?
No, not really, to be honest with you. I just think there's a lot out there, and this one, it hasn't really done maybe a great job in separating itself. If I'm being honest, I don't look at it and think to myself like, oh, this is it. Like it has a very Ubisoft vibe kind of look. I don't think that's like I said this some time ago. Like it feels like a game that should have came out 4 years ago. Like it really does. I look at it and I feel like it's a game like that could have came out a while ago. I think maybe having a Ghost of Yote and also even a Ubisoft Assassin's Creed Shadows as well is kind of like, I don't want to say hurt it, but it just feels like a game that's a bit on the older side of things. I'm sure that'll be like unique to in story. So if you like this kind of games, I think you like this as well. I was expecting this some time ago.
Okay, but like I won't lie. For me, the one thing that made me excited. Remember when we were talking about Fable? What was the main thing that I said to you about Fable?
Today, we'll cover our main protagonist and his story, as well as the open world where your journey will take place.
What do you mean?
Like, what was the thing I said that would be a deal breaker for most gamers with Fable?
A seamless open world filled with natural.
A deal breaker with Fable. The art style, the lack of choosing like a character, male or female.
There you go. The ability to be able to decide if you can choose a customizable character. Most guys are going to want to make it.
As you explore.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So for me, remember what I said when I first spoke to you about this game? I said, I'm very indifferent because there's this protagonist that I can't really get behind. He looks like the most generic of the most generic protagonists. And then they announced in the most recent, showcase, they announced that you have 2 other characters that you can choose. And I was like, yeah, like I'm down with that. And like they've got like a nice. And the reason I was annoyed at them is because the fact that like I've played their other game, what's it called, Black Desert, and Black Desert is one of the best character creators in gaming. And for them to say, well, we have this awesome character creator, but we're only giving you this generic looking dude as your default guy that you're gonna play as, I was not really happy with that. So I was really, really excited to hear that you do have 2 other players that you can play. as in the game, and one of them is a female character. And I normally choose female characters when I play these sort of games, because if I'm gonna spend 50 hours or 70 hours, I don't want to be looking at the back of the dude's head all the time. Like, to me, that's just why. Unless that dude is like a Solid Snake or someone that is like legendary or cool, I don't want to be looking at some generic character. It's not that really is not really appealing to the eye for like 70 hours. So yeah, man, I really am. I've changed my mind and my anticipation for this game. So I'm really looking forward to it now. And to me,
I probably need to watch it a little bit more. Sorry for calling you off. I probably need to watch it a little bit more because there's something here. Like when I first saw this like years ago, whenever I thought it looked great, and I was like, yep, bring it out. But it just kind of felt like almost like a very Assassin's Creed game that was like, like it kind of felt like it was ticking boxes. Like, oh, it's a big open world game that's huge, and you can travel the traverse, and it has maybe like Assassin's Creed elements. Maybe the combat's better, more interesting. So I was just kind of thinking of it like that, but then it just kind of vanished, and it just kept on getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And it felt like, I think you kind of missed your opportunity here to really kind of like cement your foot down. Or maybe I'm just like, I was being a bit too anal about it. Like, it does look good. I think it'll do well. I think it probably does separate itself a lot more. But I'm just looking at the character, like, it looks like Bayek. It looks like, has the shield, the bow.
Yeah, it does.
It just kind of has like, it has a very Assassin's Creed vibe of it. Like, it's like even like with Ghost of Tsushima. I remember like my friend who played it was like, yeah, it's a good game, but Sony's spin on an Assassin's Creed game, basically. So I'm just wondering if this game the same. I'm just not really interested right now in huge open world RPG games. I think if this came out for me anyway 4 years ago, something like that, I would have purchased it like 100%. But now, I don't know. I just don't feel like there's enough here for me to be one to give it a shot. If the reviews come out, it's amazing. I will for sure. But that's about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. Like, for me, there's two things that I'm worried about. First of all, this developer has never done a single player game before. So be cautious. I mean, we've seen like what the Stellar Blade guys have done, and they didn't do single player experiences, but they still wrote narrative experiences. These guys have never written a good story. So I can tell you that the story is going to be ass. Like, nothing in the story is going to blow you away. It's going to be the most generic. And the worst thing is, South Korea has some of the best film directors and writers, like, period. Like, I don't understand why none of these guys are like interested in writing for gaming or doing production for gaming. Like, South Korean stories are like so unique if you watch a movie, but their games are so generic when it comes to story. It's the same BS that you find in anime. So I don't care about the story. I think the story is going to be throwaway. There's not going to be much to it. Mechanically, if the world feels like a world you want to be part of, that's possibly what's going to draw you in. But I'm now more cautiously optimistic than I was before. The fact that you don't have to play this guy, because like this really put me off. Like, I hate playing heroes like this. I don't care for this.
Did they show off the other character?
Yeah, here's the female character, and then there's a big sort of like round guy that you're also going to be able to play. So Kes says,
are these characters are they the same character with just different genders, or is it like a whole?
No, they're different characters. They're part of like a party, so it's like Dragon Age or Baldur's Gate, where they have their own personality, but you can swap between the three of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very similar to GTA 5. They're also going to have very different gameplay method and whatever. This is why I say that the story has got to be good. So sorry, Kes. So Kes says Fable's going to have a mockumentary TV style moment in more than just a trailer is insane to me. So do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Is that something that you're looking forward to, or is that something that's like, puts you off? Because I loved everything I saw in the trailer. I mean, Ataya and I talked about it, and the main thing that we sort of like walked away with is the fact that it might not be fleshed out enough. What was your other concern? Is that they didn't show off more gameplay, Ty?
Yeah, everything was very surface level. Hey, you can talk to every NPC. Okay, but when I talk to every NPC, would they actually talk back, or am I just gonna get like a drop down menu of like buy, trade, marry? Like, is it just one dialogue? Because I would rather be able to talk to 50 NPCs and have so much dynamic discussions like that. I can press A, this person will talk, press A again, another conversation, and we can keep going on and on and on. And they'll tell me about their family, their life, their the parents, their sisters, and then maybe after like they're talking about like random facts about like the city, the town, and then maybe I go do a mission. And they're like, hey, yo, I heard you did this. Why'd you kill the dragon? I prefer these more dynamic discussions than I can go talk to every single NPC and it's just like a surface level discussion. Like that's useless to me. I don't want to talk to everyone in Starfield. I don't want to talk to everyone in Mass Effect, like every random person. As long as you give me like that person is real and they have content, then yeah, sure. So that's one thing I didn't like about I didn't like, but they just didn't confirm that. The moral choices, they didn't really go too deep into that. Wasn't a fan of it. You can't tell me, oh, we have deep moral choices, and I'm watching the screen, and you walk up to a house and you buy it, and then someone calls you a rich prick. That's a moral choice? Please, come on.
Well, no, I agree with you. I as someone that's sort of like interacted with Fable or the previous games, that is at the context days that you've done something to this person or to the village that they don't like you, hence they call you a rich prick. So you've not been kind to everyone. Maybe you've bought everybody's business and you've like evicted them. That's why they would like call you a tosser or a rich prick, whatever the situation is. That's what we expect anyway. But I like what Reichi's showing here. He says Fable has over 1,000 more romanceable characters compared to the 0 from I think he means avowed or avoid or outer single. That's true. Like I don't understand why Obsidian insists on not putting romance options in their games. It annoys the fuck out of me, because that would have got me to play their games if they had actual romance options. So Fable, you heard this, Ty, that Fable will allow you to romance all their characters, all 1,000 of those characters that are in the town. And you can romance and marry them at the same time, I believe.
Yeah, but who cares? Like, if you can romance every single one, like, what's that do? Does absolutely nothing.
Exactly. No, it's the same thing of like 1,000 planets in Starfield.
Because listen, for me, like if you tell me like, hey, what's up? You can romance Liara, Tali, Jack, or you can romance Sarah from Starfield, Andreja. Like these are characters that I talk to on a regular basis. I interact with normally. I actually build a connection with these characters. So romancing them makes sense to me. In fact, I want to. But with this Fable thing, it could just be like, oh, this character looks hot. So let me go talk to her. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey, I think you're pretty. Oh, really? I think you're pretty too. Do you want to hook up? Yeah, let's hook up. And then bam, we're married. Like, is that what it is?
That's my problem, is that the marriage itself and the relationships are going to be superficial. Whereas you would rather have, for me, I still have to play a game, and I haven't played, unfortunately, the super deep RPGs. I still have to play a game where you can have a really deep relationship with an NPC, in the sense that it's not just the set pieces, but just in the non-set piece gameplay, you feel like this person sort of like, I don't know, like it feels more realistic. I suppose is the best way I can describe it. But Cass, you know what, Cass, I don't know if you've played the previous Fable games. The previous Fable games were literally that. They were The Office before The Office, because I think the first Fable game came out before The Office. And the humor is that whole British humor where everybody is sort of like, it's that tongue-in-cheek. If you've ever watched Blackadder, if you've ever watched Faulty Towers, it's that old school 1970s, 1960s serial drama / comedy humor, and I love that humor. It was the best part of Fable 1 and 2 was that humor, and the way that the banter goes on. It feels so natural. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels fantasy. But at the same time, you feel like you're in this setting. So, I don't know if you've tried it before. I don't know if you've played the previous Halo games, because I know you were a PS person. But if you come from that, you understand exactly what you're in for. And I loved the way that they did that in the first 2 games. Even in the third game, there's a lot of that works, but the third game was just not very well done overall. So it works. For Fable, I promise you, if they pull it off, and I think Playground can pull it off, it will work. If they pull off that British comedy with that little bit of office humor, but make it relatable, it will work. Trust me, when you see it, you'll like it. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But if you see it, you'll like it. Alrighty.
Like I just think the game is doing things that, like, I think it feels like, you know, a different. It feels like an Assassin's Creed game that has, you know, new elements and incorporates different game mechanics inside. That's good, and I think for those fans, I think this is going to be probably a great game. But I think I'm kind of tuned out of open world games at the moment, and I think there needs to be something more unique. Like, for example, yeah, I stopped playing Shadows, and I'll pick it up every now and then just to explore the world. I think this game might catch my attention more than Shadows. I think there's a lot more to probably see and do here. I think the puzzles look interesting. I think the combat looks better than Shadows. So I think from a gameplay point of view, I think they've probably done it right. I just don't know if the world is interesting. But once again, I could see this game replacing Shadows. My only problem is I don't know if that's a really good thing, because I play Shadows just very like here and there just to enjoy it. I don't really play it as like a big game or like, oh, this is like, you know, the new game I'm going to be playing for a while now. So I just think like even with the shoot the arrow, like that's very Assassin's Creed. Like it just feels very Assassin's Creed-ish to me. And I'm just not interested in those kind of games anymore. So
I felt that way with Ghost of Tsushima when I finally played it after everyone had played. I really felt like, yeah, well, I mean, this is great, but this is the more curated version of Assassin's Creed. It's more tighter. They got all the stuff that Assassin's Creed sort of fumbled, like a good story, that characters that you care about, etc., etc. But after a while, I was just like, yeah, well, this is just more of the same of what I've experienced. So I get where you're coming from with that. Ken says, I did play Fable 2 like 17 years ago. Okay, cool. So you were into 360 as well. I do remember the silliness. If you go back to play because I recently tried to do that, Cass, if you go back to play the old Fable games, rather just go straight to Fable 2, because that's the best one. 1 is a little bit of a letdown because not a lot happens in 1. A lot of the stuff is repetitive. 2, I think, out of the entire Fable series, does all the things that Fable was supposed to be. Not perfect, but it's the best version of Peter Molyneux's vision of what Fable was supposed to be. So I highly recommend that you do that. And it also has a lot of similarities to like later Fallout games, ironically. Okay, so Ty, we're almost done. We're almost at the end of our show. I don't have the energy to talk about Ubisoft, Ty. Like, this is the next subject.
Nothing we need to say here.
I don't know. Like, do you have any feelings about as like everybody was complaining about like games like Prince of Persia being cancelled? Is there anything that out of the games that were cancelled that you felt are losses to gaming?
I think Prince of Persia is a loss. That's a shame because that's a game with, you know, history and probably a lot of potential as well. And why did Ubisoft cancel it? You know, probably wasn't coming out well. Profit margins were probably going to be really low for the game. So I guess that makes sense. I did speak to someone. When I say speak to someone, I mean like I was going back and forth with somebody because they were really confused as to why Beyond Good and Evil made it. And my educated guess was the Prince of Persia game was probably not in a good shape. It was probably just not good enough. And the last thing you want to do, first of all, you don't want to invest more time into it and just sink more money and erode the profit margins of the game. That's one. 2, when you do sink more time into it, and the game is still a 7 out of 10, is that even worth it? Because now your brand name has been damaged. Now It's another average game by Ubisoft. Ubisoft game. You took an established franchise and now you just destroyed the brand name. Like all that. Like right now, Ubisoft can't be releasing negativity. With the stock prices being so volatile, not volatile, but like they just like keep going down. So you release a Prince of Persia game that reviewers are tearing apart in 7 out of 10, or you're adding more millions to fix the game. And maybe at the core it's bad because remember it was a different team making this game, so they already had their foundations, they have established mechanics, and maybe those mechanics just aren't working. Maybe the whole game just needs to be rebooted. Maybe you're looking at the character animations, the artistic choices, and you're like, yo, this ain't it, right? So then you just cancel it, just to keep the things ticking. But Beyond Good and Evil, there's synergies there. It's an open world galaxy based game, so you can imagine the open world like an Assassin's Creed, like a Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. You can imagine the open world like Immortal Phoenix Rising. You can imagine the open world like Far Cry. You can imagine the open galaxy like Star Wars Outlaws. And in fact, you're looking at Star Wars Outlaws thinking, yeah, if we take Immortal Phoenix Rising, we take Star Wars Outlaws, and we take our experience with Far Cry and Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon, Beyond Good and Evil 2 sounds, sorry, the ceiling for it is way higher in terms of potential profits you can make from it. So that's probably a franchise that you think you can actually get more value from, right? And that's probably gonna make the stocks go up because it's also a new franchise shooting up. That's not a new franchise, but an established franchise that no one really cares about doing well. And beyond that, what was I gonna say? But basically, like, long story. What game is this?
Raven 2. This guy. Are you done talking? Like, what happened? Did you lose your train of thought? Oh. this dude.
What the hell? I need to Google this game real quick. Sorry.
The problem is it's not like, trust me, like the gameplay sucks. Like you
I can
get tired of
imagine.
that. But the and again, like, this is the thing with Korean developers, dude. Like, they just can't get everything. Like, the story is very interesting in this game, but it's supposed to be like a Diablo-like game, but it's just not that good when it comes to.
Is it free to play?
It's free to play, yeah. So download it, try it out. Tell me what you think.
Is it on PC or is it on
It's on
mobile?
It's on mobile, and it's on Android and PC.
It's on Android.
Yeah, I think that's why it probably sucks, is because it's one of those. But it's an Android PC / hack and slash game.
But yeah, so that's the reason with Ubisoft.
Okay.
There's a chance they've kind of divided their company into like creative houses.
Yeah, I saw that.
And yeah, that's probably like a easy kind of tell sign to see that, like, hey, maybe there's a chance that they might sell off different companies. Hey, she looks like Triss.
Yeah, like a lot of the characters look very derivative from other games, but
Yeah.
the design, like body-wise though, yeah, like they just look like characters made by Korean developers. Like Western developers don't make characters like this.
Yeah, I would like it at some point for like Western games to kind of maybe embrace something a little bit more like this.
Like for me,
I think there's a market for this, like for Western, like even for like here's what I'll say. I think even for a fighting game, I think like Mortal Kombat is done a decent job. I think there's a market for like a fighting game like this as long as it's good. I think there's a market for even I think there's a market for any kind of game like this, like platforming, fighting, even like a Hellblade kind of game that has this kind of like artistic style from the West that we just haven't really been seeing in a while. And maybe eventually it'll come to fruition.
Yeah, man. Like, I agree completely with you. Is that like, hot characters sell things.
Mhm.
The only problem is when we were growing up, when I was coming up during the PS1, PS2 era, whenever a game had a hot character, chances are it sucked. It was crap. So we
Mhm.
sort of got wary of hot characters. You didn't want a game with a hot character on the cover back in the PS2, PS1 era because it was crap. PS3, PSX 360, it started to change somewhat, and you started to get very good games with like hot characters. I mean, I think Lara Croft was one of the first hot characters in a game that was actually good or enjoyable. Because whenever people back in the day put a hot character in a game, the game would be garbage. There'd be no effort put into the gameplay, story, or anything. Because it's being sold to the lowest common denominator audience. They know it's gonna sell anyway, back then anyway. Now I'm more sophisticated. I think you can have hot characters in awesome games. The Witcher proved that with their female characters. Even
What
just
about
the
that?
mature content of their game.
Fuzzy said it's his most anticipated game, Fable. Richie says, I kind of like that you can romance anyone in Fable, even if their writing is very simple. I can do a quest and I'm like, hey, I've taken a fancy to you. Is there a chance we can make that work? I think I think as an option, like it's okay, it's fine. It's just I don't see the value in being able to like romance somebody that I don't really like. It would just be based on looks. Oh, this character looks sexy or looks pretty. Let me go
Yeah.
romance them. I think that's very surface level because in real life, and I know it's a game, right? But in real life, I wouldn't like romance. I wouldn't marry someone or romance them just based on their looks. I want something deeper. And okay,
Let's
well,
go
what
get
is
a real
deeper?
girl.
What the deeper is Mass Effect. Like I get, it's deep there. The Witcher, the deeper is The Witcher. The deeper is Cyberpunk 2077. The deeper is Starfield. Like there's a lot of games out there that actually makes you feel connected to these characters. Like even I'm sure Genshin Impact, right? You play like Richie, you play these live service games, like those romance characters makes more sense. Even I played I played the damn, I can't remember the name of it. The game from Shift Up.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Nikkei.
Yeah, I played Nikkei, and like I'm talking to these characters. They're I'm with them. I'm doing missions with them. Like if you give me the chance to romance one of them, I could see myself doing it because you just the affinity I have with these
But
characters. But if you told me like, yo, you could go romance a random Nikkei character, like yeah, I could, but I don't talk to them, so it doesn't feel the same way. So
however,
go on.
I go as far as saying, because I played Nikkei as well on my tablet quite a bit when I was traveling. When I used to like do like coaching, traveling stuff. Like I used to play that game every single time, like for like hours on end. And the writing in Nikkei is not bad. Like the character writing and like how these robot women relate to you, it's so much more effective than say Stellar Blade. I actually think that their writing took a huge step back with Stellar Blade compared to what you get with Nikkei. Nikkei's relationships are so personal with those robot women. You really do care about them. But I suppose because they want you to go buy more shit for them, like and spend more money, so they put effort into making sure that that relationship loop works. Because the whole game is based around that relationship loop. Outside, of course, doing these little walk around, those missions where you're doing the hiding and shooting thing. But like the writing is better, in my opinion. The writing in Nikkei was superior to Stellar Blade, way superior.
No. I can. Yeah, I played it for a bit as well. It was good. I just dropped them for certain other reasons. Richie says, but I'm with Starfield. I'm like, shots. I'm limited to Sarah Morgan. But also says, imagine if there was a more freedom in Mass Effect. Imagine we could have maintained contact with NPCs like Shayla, Kirahe, and have something more deep. Yeah, I mean,
I like
as
Kirahe,
long as,
yeah.
but as long as you can have those discussions, because if I could go to the NPC character like Shiala, I'm not sure I'm saying her name wrong, and just be like, let's hook up, and then she says yeah, and I talk to her again, and she's like, hey, how are you? There's no cutscene, there's no nothing, just hey, like it's just the same thing over again. Then I talk to her again, and she's like, want to hook up again? It's like, oh, bro, like okay, can we talk and bond and do things, and and I think that's my issue. And Ken Wall, what's up? How you doing,
Look
bro?
who's here! Surprise, surprise! As we're about to freaking duck, bro. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, I'll invite you to the next one, Ken. Well, welcome. Glad to have you with us, brother. Tyler, you were still finishing?
No, that was it. That was basically it.
Okay,
Like,
cool. All right. No, dude, like, I'm all for that. But, like, this is the thing. Like, this is my thing. And again, like, the last topic that we had to deal with was AI. And let's just, let's just ad hoc that quickly. Like, when it comes to AI, to me, those are all the reasons why AI is so awesome. Because I chat, like, for instance, with Elon's AI. Elon has companions on his AI. If you use Apple or iPhones, or you use the browser, you can get a companion and then it talks to you, and the conversations flow so naturally that I'm like, you can build NPCs like this. This is where this technology means something. That you're no longer gonna, because there's nothing that kills your enthusiasm for a game like Mass Effect than having the same 3 dialogue option conversation with Garrus, Tally, and all these characters that you like. It would be so awesome to just have natural flowing dialogue conversations with the characters. I think, to me, that's the draw, like, for games like that. It'll give them so much more longevity. People will literally live in those games once they know that, you know what, Tally or will remember the last conversation we had. If I bought her a gift, she'll remember that I bought her a gift, and she'll buy me a gift, and she'll surprise me. To have that dynamic relationship with NPCs, that is what, to me, is the promise of AI. But they're using AI for everything except that.
I agree. But it's coming. I think there's gonna be pushback from, maybe developers themselves who are like, yo, are we signing down destruction right now? But I think you're already starting to see games use it. There's been like some Korean devs use it for interactive characters. And I think Western devs are, they're slowly adapting to it, or they're slowly going to start seeing the value in it. So it's going to take some more time, especially more time than in the East. But eventually, I think you will see it. Like, you'll start to see these things at some point.
Can I make a prediction? I think the biggest failure for GTA 6 will be if it doesn't have AI NPCs.
I think that I would say they don't need it yet, because I think they know that, like, people, they can release an update and patch for it. Right now, they're probably too busy trying to make sure the game works, to be honest, and doesn't break. And maybe having AI NPCs would just probably destroy it. But no, you're right. It would be, like, great if it did have it, and I predict it will have it eventually. In fact, I predict it will have it sooner rather than later, based on the mods. So I think people are going to want to enjoy it, especially because GTA is probably going to have a lot of attractive characters, a world to live in, some interactive moments with, maybe social media. And I think adding interactivity, like a real life AI to that game, will make it feel even more real than already what it is. That is Triss, basically, man.
Yeah,
that character is exact same outfit, exact same hair. Like, it's Triss.
Yeah, no, they did rip that game off. No, I agree with you, dude. Like, and if they don't, and whoever does dynamic AI NPCs is going to have the next biggest single player game, period. I really do believe that, without a shadow of a doubt, that whoever does that and pulls that off is the next GTA. But Strauss is slick, bro. Like, Strauss is one of those execs that out of all execs, I think he knows what he's doing. And he's got full control and full autonomy in terms of, like, what he does. And I can see him doing that. I can see him looking at that and saying, guys, we need to do this. Everyone is talking about AI, NVIDIA, all the biggest players, Microsoft, and they're not implementing in their products, or we've not implemented in our products the way we can. And I don't think GTA 6 needs to be left behind, because this is not a game for a year or 2 years. This is not Call of Duty. This is a game that needs to last the next 13 years plus.
Well, I think it will, because remember, like, people are still buying GTA and still playing it right now. And I think for Strauss, he could say, yo, we could release GTA with AI. But I think he probably knows that, like, well, our game's going to do amazing anyway. And what we have is enough for everyone to want to play our game. In fact, how about we just do this? And then in 2 years' time, then we say GTA AI. Like, when the technology is a lot better, when the speaking is a lot better, the writing, like, there's no mistakes. Let's release it when we are ready, because these guys ain't going anywhere. They ain't gonna run away. They're gonna play GTA, and then people who are interested in the GTA AI will come back for GTA AI. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh no, it's too late. And it's not like, Microsoft releases Fallout AI or whatever AI, and it's gonna be like, oh, okay, well, they did it first. No, irrelevant. Whenever GTA drops theirs, it's gonna be huge.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dai, but like, I'm surprised that the likes of Fallout 76 don't have AI NPCs yet. When Microsoft is insisting that AI is in everything, there's now a co-pilot for Xbox. Come on. Like, I don't understand why they're not.
Well, you gotta think about it this way, man. This is what some people want, right? Let the devs cook and let the devs make the creative decisions. We don't want these corpos telling lovely developers what to do, and I'm sure that's how you feel. They're gonna force all this stuff in there. I find this, like I always say, I find you guys always interesting because it's not about
you guys.
It's not about the devs. It's about, well, who's doing what I want them to do? Who's doing what I want or what I like? If the devs are telling us like, oh, the mandate from Microsoft is make people ugly and all this stuff, it's like, oh, look at them interfering with creative freedom. No, stop forcing everyone, like, screw it, whatever it is. But then when the devs are woke, they're like, oh, why are they making them make games? Tell them to make games that I want. Like, you can never win with you people. Y'all suck. Y'all trash.
We're not that complicated, Tai. This game, as I said to you, is ass in terms of gameplay.
But you know what I'll say? I'll say for those people, then this is what they should say. Whoever supports my views will always get my vote. That could be the evil corporal.
Yes.
That could be the creative dev.
Correct.
They'll get my votes. I don't have any moral grandstanding view on devs should create what they want to create and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any moral view on corporals should stay out of video games. I don't care about all that kind of stuff. As long as I get what I want, end of story. But that's what I'm saying. Then just say that and be consistent.
But the thing is, the problem is, this is not a monolith of people that you're talking to. You're talking to a whole diverse sort of like.
I can promise you that the people that I'm talking about know exactly that I'm talking about them. Because the truth is, they'll tell you right here, right now, that no, he's right. The way I feel about this is whoever supports my decision is the one that I want to support. They just don't say that because they sound like entitled pricks. So what they'll do is they'll obfuscate and they'll chosen themselves into whichever position suits their needs. So when a dev is making a game that aligns with their views, they will support that dev and they'll tell everyone to fuck off. And then when a corporal is forcing the dev to make a kind of game that they want, they'll align with the corporal and say, yeah, you tell them to make the game I want. This is the truth. They know what they're doing. You know what you're doing too.
No idea what you're talking about.
Okay,
Anyways, let's read Rachy's comment. Rachy says a cool game called Troubleshooter Abandoned Children has a very positive. I hope this is on Steam, Rachy. I want to go check it out. Has very positive reviews, but many said that the lack of romance was a missed opportunity. The dev said we don't have dating experience. That's a clever comeback. That's a very good comeback.
Yeah.
I'll go check that out. I think I've heard about this troubleshooter. I'll definitely check it out. But like, to me, romance options, given how in today's era, with all the sort of like online based reality, not having romance options in your RPGs is the worst decision you can make. And I don't understand why Obsidian insists on not putting romances in their freaking games when they make games that are built for that whole thing. Like, Avowed should have had romances. Outer Worlds should have had romances. The whole thing is based around character, and you relating to the character, building that relationship. At some point in time, Mass Effect has taught us that the next natural step is, you know what? Let's take this to the next level. You wanna go grab a beer?
No, I kind of I disagree. I mean, I see what you're saying. I don't understand. Like
You don't want romances in games?
No, because Obsidian comes from like Fallout and Pillars of Eternity, like
romances.
The first Fallout game.
No. The first.
Yeah,
no,
the ones Obsidian made, and Pillars of Eternity. Like Obsidian made their name from making deep RPG games that didn't have romance. In fact, I don't think any of the games have had romance, and they've built a community. So if you ask an Obsidian fan,
like I've never tried romance, like, but
if you ask an Obsidian fan, you know, what do you want about their games? They'll tell you like, well, I'm their fan for a reason. This is exactly what I want. And then they see someone like you come in, like Oshus is like, where's the romance? They're like, bro, this like go play your Guna game. Go play your Mass Effect. This ain't for you, like, because we're here for the story, we're here for the creativity. Even in Exile, I don't know if they do romance in their games too as well. So in a sense, what you're kind of what you're actually saying is you're telling the developer they do, yeah.
Who does Pillars of Eternity?
Obsidian.
In Exile, Obsidian. Okay. Sorry, go on.
In Exile, does Wasteland. So it seems like what you might be.
Yes,
what you actually
Wasteland has romances.
Okay.
I think. Sorry, I'm googling it. Go ahead, go on. Because I've played those games, but I've never gone far enough that I was given a romance option. They're very
Wasteland series does not feature romances. While there are interactions with characters, but they're primarily gameplay than romantic. Yeah. So you're telling in Exile, and they have a fan base, and you're telling Obsidian they have a fan base. Yeah, put romance in your game, and they're like, "But we don't. That's not what we do. Like, that's not what we think is important. We have a budget, and for us, we're gonna use that budget to do other things that we know our fan base wants." And they'll probably be like, "Yeah, if you want romances, go play Mass Effect, bro." Like,
you don't like money.
I mean, that's. I don't know if would romance have made up about better. I don't know about that now, to be honest.
So Obsidian made Pillars. Pillars 1 doesn't have romances. Pillars 2 has romances. I thought there was an Obsidian game with romances. Like, dude, look at how much money. Like, dude, Baldur's Gate is a perfect game. 9-10 out of 10 game without romances or whatever. But romances made that game sell 10 million more copies, I promise you. You being able to do, because RPGs are personal experiences. And the problem with RPGs that I have is that deep RPGs are made for one or two people. Real role players, to me, annoy me because they want to play dysfunctional characters. They want someone with an alcohol problem, who's abusive, who treats people badly. That's not what I want to do in a freaking RPG simulation. Like, what's this game? Disco Elysium. Brilliant RPG.
Go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
No, I was saying brilliant RPG, but to me it puts me off. I want to play a character that's liked in the world. Like, I don't want to play a character that everybody hates, that just is got like I can do that in real life, right? I can be hateable in real life. I can be a deadbeat. I can be an alcoholic and have all those problems. I have that in real life. I don't need to simulate it. When I enter a simulated RPG world, I want to be Commander Shepard. I want to be heroic. I want to be exceptional. I want to be aspirational. Even when I'm a bad guy, I want to be Thanos. I don't want to be some. What is an example of a slimy bad guy? Like a really just disgusting bad guy that people just hate.
Can't think of one.
You won't find it in a Marvel movie. It'll be like in a really crappy movie, like in a really dark movie. I don't want to be any of those guys, and that's my point. Is that like I love the aspirational part of RPGs, but a lot of deep RPGs typically favor that whole thing of just being a scumbag and just doing the most weird sideways things. This is why I think Baldur's Gate worked so well, because it actually gave you those options to be aspirational.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate is probably a good template for developers to follow, because it doesn't really change gameplay, but it does kind of focus on maybe character development and sexuality, and it's well written, it's done well. So I think that's where I would hope the industry, they look towards them at that. They can't obviously all achieve the same level of success and even like fidelity when it comes to graphics and gameplay, because that game was developed for like a long time. And in terms of finances, it was long as like none of us going to get that opportunity. But I do think you can look at what they've done well and say, okay, you know what, let's learn from this and let's take. The only things I don't really want is, like, for example, like when a game becomes a massive success, like Elden Ring. I don't need more Souls-like games, man. Fuck that.
I'm also done, my man.
I was never even there. Like I played it a couple of times. I was like I've dropped a few games simply because it was Souls-like, and I was like, why?
Yeah,
like look what you've done to yourself.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm also not interested in any Souls games. Like, to me, like the genre, and again, remember what I said to you, that the cheapest genre where you are guaranteed an audience that's a single player genre is Souls-like games. Whether you make it a 2D game, a cartoon-based game, but if you do, like, it's that or roguelikes, which are very similar in genre, like roguelites. It's all the same shit of like die, lose all your loot, go back. No, dude, I don't want to die. I'm good with that. Like, that's never been my thing. I did that during the NES era when I played forgot what those games were called. I did that a lot, where you had to play for lives, and each life, if you die, you lose everything. There's even a game.
I remember those as well.
Where like you get the armor, and every time like the zombies kill you, you have to go you're running around in your boxes. That's exactly what the games like everybody likes today. It's like everybody's into that. I'm like, dude, I played this when I was fucking 6.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so over this shit. Like, back then, their excuse was, well, we didn't have graphics. We didn't have nice graphics and story shit that you could do. So the only way we could get you involved in games is to make the games hard. The games being hard for the sake of being hard, and that's the gameplay loop, to me is the biggest con ever.
Agreed.
I play games for stories. And I think me and you are on the same wavelength when it comes to that.
No, we are. For sure we are. 100%.
Look at this game. This game has a very good... This is the Korean developers are such a... This game has actually got an interesting story.
It's a shame they just can't match the gameplay then, right?
The gameplay sucks, dude. Like, I couldn't even make it past the first hour. The thing is, the controls, because it's made to be a mobile game, the controls don't respond to the mouse the way they're supposed to. So it always feels like you're clicking out of the area, like when you're starting to click, because it plays like Diablo, so you have to click on the enemies for you to hit them. So every time you click on the enemy and then it just, nothing happens. You have to click like 3 times to get a response.
Yeah, I mean, like, imagine if like you took the Assassin's Creed kind of gameplay and then you had this like art style, right? That'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, because I look at the gameplay right now. I can't even play this. Like, I can just tell that like I wouldn't last 30 minutes.
Get so bored. Because you're just clicking on the enemies, like you're not like pressing combos. You're clicking one button. Because it's on PC, it's mouse. You can't use controller. You just have to use the mouse controls. So you're just clicking on the mouse button. On PC, I know. Sorry, on Android, I know that you're just tapping the screen all the time, just like this. That's all you do. It's like the most minimal entry level gameplay that you can ever get in a mobile game. And the story though is very interesting, especially for Korean games. Rachie says 90% of Elden Ring content was Millennia, and Resident Evil was about... Yes, I agree with you, but like a lot of those games... But again, I won't lie, I feel very differently, and this is a discussion for another day. I feel very differently about Elden Ring than I feel about most Souls. Like, there's something about Elden Ring that's just very special. Elden Ring captured that feeling I felt as a 6-year-old playing Ghouls and Goblins. I think that's the game's name, Ghouls and Goblins. I felt like I was in a different. There's just a way more exploration in Elden Ring that I love, and the openness of the world that you can literally go anywhere and do whatever you want. Lots of also Legend of Zelda things I liked about Elden Ring. Elden Ring is just different to me. It hit differently than other Souls-like games. Resident Evil 8. Have you played Resident Evil 8?
No, I haven't.
I also haven't. I have it, but I just have not gotten to it. So Rachel, I'll let you know what I think about it when I get to it. The first Koran game I played. My first Korean game I played in my life was Kingdom Under Fire. I've heard of Kingdom Under Fire. I've not played it, but I've heard of it. I thought you said Quran. I was like, huh? This game's based on the Quran. I was like, geez, okay. That would be an interesting twist. Tai, I think in terms of subjects, we've covered everything. Is there anything that you feel that we need to go back to? Maybe you just need to elaborate.
Well, I don't know how. Like you said, like, oh, you don't know what I'm talking about when I brought out the Microsoft Surface example. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Okay.
your brain not
You want to go
capable
back
of
to
now?
that?
Well, it's not about going back to it. It's just it's. Well, yeah. Well, yes, we're going to go back to that because I don't understand how you
Okay,
understand
let's do
English.
that before we wrap
I
it
know
up.
you're not from England or Ireland or United States,
Yeah.
and I know English is not your first language, but
Not at
try to
all.
pay attention.
Yeah. How many languages do you have in your country, Tai?
We have two, Irish and English.
Two.
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess how many official languages we have in my country?
Listen, ain't nobody care about no African languages. Get over yourself.
I didn't ask you what your opinion was. I asked you to guess how many
You want to
languages
guess?
we have.
Okay, let me guess how many irrelevant languages you got in your country. Let me see.
I didn't ask you for your opinion on the languages. I asked you to
You got
guess
like
how many.
15 or
languages we have.
something, right?
12 official languages.
12. How many do you know?
5.
5. How many of them do you use on podcasts and gaming and all the important stuff in life? Yeah, I thought so, motherfucker.
3.
Yeah,
3.
I thought so.
3 out of
Only
5.
English. Only like wait, what?
No.
Use other languages for what? For ordering
Sorry?
food?
No, like, don't forget, like, our country comes from apartheid, so Afrikaans is a language that a lot of the businesses were built around. So it's a language that you need it. You were forced to learn it in school if you grew up between a certain time and era. So a lot of the stuff is still built around that language. So, like, officially, the languages that you really need to know to conduct yourself in South Africa is isiZulu, because that's the majority. That's the language spoken by the majority of the people in South Africa. The second one is probably English, because that's the lingua franca and the language that everybody understands, that everybody conducts business in. The third one is Afrikaans, because you still have a lot of establishments that are based in Afrikaans in South Africa. So yes, you definitely need to know those 3. But if you want to know in terms of like being able to communicate with the rest of the country, knowing an extra 2 would not be a bad idea.
Okay, fair enough. I can see that.
Diversity, Baba, diversity and inclusion. We include everyone here.
Listen, we love to hear it, man.
Anyways, okay, cool. So okay, let's wrap this up. Let's talk about this. But I won't lie, this game and its cutscenes are on point. Yeah. So let's wrap this up. So you were saying about Surface.
Yeah. Well, to finish it up is that people have this idea that just because the console is failing, that the entity itself is failing, right? And that's not true, because Steam doesn't have a console. That's not true because EA and all these other publishers don't have consoles, but they're still there, right? So, well, if the argument is like, well, that just means the third-party publisher, well, I told you, like, Steam is still there. But Steam doesn't publish games. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. You could still have an ecosystem without the console being the main feature of that, especially if you're going to pivot the devices into a more niche-like product, like pre-built PCs from Alienware, etc., etc., etc. Like all you need to do is look at different markets, aka look at the pre-built PC market, and look at how third-party publishers operate, like EA and Steam and Epic, and that'll give you an idea as to what Xbox is trying to do. People might not like it. They might think the device is still the most important thing, but it's not the most important thing. And that's it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, look, I agree completely with everything that you've said. And I agree with you. From a business, I've always said this to you. And I think we had like a long 6-hour debate where eventually the conclusion was, oh, actually, we're approaching this from very different perspectives. You're approaching it from a business perspective, and I'm approaching it from a gamer's perspective. From a gamer's perspective, dude, from a business perspective, everything that you say makes sense. But I always give you the caveats of like, well, you know what? I'll believe it when I see it because Xbox has not given me any reason to believe that they can pull it off. They've typically not been able to do this historically. And I would love to see them do it. Like, they're just not good at gaming, man. Like, to point. But, okay. Is this part of the game? All right, guys, you've reached the adult time slot of our show. I think there's everything for there's everything for everyone. Look at that. Yeah, okay, it is this game.
If only they could put this much effort into the actual gameplay.
It would have sold less. So I agree with everything that you're saying. The only difference is from a gamer's perspective, is that I didn't buy into Xbox for all these other things. I didn't buy into Xbox for Game Pass. I didn't buy into Xbox for cloud, to play games on PC. I bought into Xbox for that Xbox experience of knowing that I put a disc into an Xbox, it pops up or it brings up my Xbox loading screen. I'm immediately in the in the OS, and I can start playing my games. And I love the hardware, and I love the games that they offered on the hardware. That's it. Everything over and above that, it means that Xbox is no longer for me. It's for somebody else. Someone else cares about those things, and those things might work for them, and they might make Xbox money, but I'm no longer the target audience for Xbox, and I'm okay with that, and I've moved on to a platform where I can find those experiences now.
How? Steam doesn't, like, what the experiences Steam gives you?
What do you mean?
What platform did you find these experiences in?
Steam and PC.
Okay, fair enough.
But like, it's not the same experience. I understand. Like, I've also evolved. I no longer need a closed. Like, I'm at the point where I'm back where I started because I started gaming on PC, and now I'm back on PC. And the cool thing about gaming on PC now is that I game on PC. I get so many options to customize my experience more than console ever offered me. So the only thing better than exclusives is being able to make your games exclusive to you. Every game I play now either has mods or has things that I've added into the game because I can.
Okay, so I think that's a good quote. Only thing better than exclusives is making the game exclusive to you. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
So that's where I am at now. And the only reason I ended up having to evolve to that is because Microsoft sort of pushed me to it. Like, I was sort of like, well, I don't like Sony's output. I've never been into Sony's first party. I don't like, generally, most of them, I don't like Sony's first party games. I like, there's just a lot of things I don't like about Sony's consoles, man. Going back, the last Sony console I liked was the PS2. I've not been into any Sony console since then. I don't like how they design their consoles. I don't like how they look. I don't like how their games play. It's like Kendrick when he's talking about Drake. I hate everything about like that platform. It does not appeal to me. So I turned to PC, and PC has the experiences I want. But unfortunately, the experiences I want at PC are not Xbox experiences, are Steam experiences.
Fair enough.
That's it. But what you're saying is valid for them as a business. If they want to survive and keep going in business, they have to be creative. But the one thing I say to Xbox, they need to be consistent. They can't do this thing of flip-flopping and not committing to something. You need to be consistent, commit.
Fair. I agree.
That's it. I've said everything I wanted to. I think we're 3 hours. That's our average time for this podcast. Is about 3 hours, 30 minutes. I've said everything I want to say, and I think we've had an awesome show. A lot of very, very like unexpected people showed up today. So really enjoyed today's show. Had lots of fun. Tai, what you going to be up to? Do you have any plans in regards to? And you make great. Is there any reason why you don't release more content regularly?
Any reason why I don't release it regularly? I guess just time and being busy with like other things. To be honest,
Being employed.
being employed, going to the gym, jobs, everything. You know what I mean? You know, the usual.
Nah,
So,
I
yeah.
feel you. I feel you.
But yeah,
anyways,
I'll just make some content at some point soon.
no, like I always think like whenever you make like I forgot to actually leave a comment on your last video, but I really enjoyed your video about The Expanse and those other science fiction franchises that people like you and me are looking forward to, because we're just looking for the next fix narratively that has like all the narrative beats that we like so much. So I'm definitely looking forward to whatever you're gonna be doing next. And yeah, man, thanks for shotgunning or like being my wingman for today's show and every other show that we had before. Kenwell, I hope you come through next week. Let me know what your availability looks like. Is Kenwell in America or in the UK?
States.
He's in the States. Oh jeez, like coordinating with the States is so difficult because when we do this it's like midday there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like Kenwell, if you can just give me a shout. Like I'll let you know when we're doing these shows. If you want to come join us in the conversation, we're happy to do so, man. It's always a pleasure to have you. Raichi, Fuzzy, like you guys are also welcome. Like I am so open to having you guys on. You guys want one day come and join us in this conversation or this crazy conversation, please let me know. Just drop me if you're on and you just hit me up. Say, hey, you know what? Can I jump on? Happy. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been awesome. We're almost done with January. Last day, is it the second last day or the last day of January? I think it's the second last day of January. Yeah, man, we're in 2026. I have a lot of good feelings about this year. For gaming, I think this is going to be a stellar year for gaming. And looking forward to it. Guys, thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe if this is your first time here. And we always appreciate your input. If there's anything that you want to see us talk about, leave it in the comments or in the chat. All good. That's it. Peace.
Safe, guys.
Godspeed.